What's up, dudes? It's the Vickers Q&A again. And before you ask about the timestamps, that is a great way to get permabanned. I see it every time when the Vickers Q&A finishes. Literally a second after I end or I hit the end stream button, people are asking about the timestamps. It takes about a day. So come back tomorrow. And if you still ask, you're banned forever. Let's get into the questions because I didn't do anything this week. I was lazy. I didn't record any videos. I just did my consultations and client work, and that was that. Spent a lot of time with my cats, so there's nothing to update. Besides that, I recorded the Anabolic Roundtable episode 3 with Kurt Havens and Dr. Dean St. Mart. So I already made the details for my editor, but he will start working on Monday. So when he's done, it will be released. Let's get started with the questions. Danny Boy, switch to subcutaneous from 2 times per week intramuscular, 30 millimeter insulin needle, 0.45 milliliters test, and Primo. Is it normal to have injection site pain for 4 to 5 days? No, that should not occur. Post-injection pain should not happen when you inject subcutaneously unless you inject synthetic carrier oils. So I would switch brands, switch products, continue with the exact same protocol, and then let us know in, let's say, 2 weeks when you have a new batch of testosterone and Primo in, how your injection sites feel. Rick PR, welcome to the Vickers crew. MS asked like 4 questions in a row. You should have gone with the membership option so you could have saved yourself a lot of money, but I'm still going to take your money and answer your question. So here we go. MS, natural, 15% body fat, fastest cardio 3 times per week, lift 3 to 4 times weekly, terrible cholesterol blood work, triglycerides, way too fucking high, 10 times too high. Total cholesterol is 226. That's acceptable for somebody on steroids, not running ezetimibe, but not for somebody who's natural. HDL 36, LDL 130, non-LDL, non-HDL 190. All right, so that's 4 questions in one. Doc said no fasting, 4 hours before blood work. Well, then your blood work is moot because you need to fast for accurate blood work results. That is high triglycerides. Go in fasted, buddy, because we can't do anything with this. If you had bacon and eggs for breakfast, yes, your triglycerides could be this high if you're not doing daily fasted cardio, which you should be doing. Not if you do fasted cardio 3 times per week and on the days you don't do cardio, you lift. Maybe that's not enough. Your body fat levels are too high. I would get it down to 12%. So this is the perfect time for you to start dieting and eat a little bit better. So you ate 4 hours before blood work, diet is high triglycerides. Think it's genetic, not pancreatitis, diabetes. No, it's lifestyle. It has nothing to do with your dad. 10 years later, had a heart attack. So you're at a higher risk. So you actually need to pay more attention. You need to be proactive starting yesterday. Now takes ezetimibe and Repatha, but bad lifestyle. Okay, so your dad had bad lifestyle. He had a terrible advice for you. You have terrible lifestyle yourself, and this is why your triglycerides and cholesterol markers are so out of whack. I eat extra lean beef at lunch, sirloin at dinner, 900 milligrams omega-3s, 47 grams fiber per day, so that's way too low. Bring that up to 50 grams of fiber coming from vegetables. And if you're doing, well, you eat a little bit of flax and broccoli, so you're just not eating enough vegetables. That's very, very clear. My plan, this is your plan. Okay, so you're not eating enough vegetables, clearly. My plan, swap strip loins with chicken, ground beef, fish, add chia seeds, ground flax, broccoli every meal, add in 6 milligrams omega-3, split over meals, berberine, citrus, bergamot with meals, only use melanotan 2 and oral nicotine. Please advise, I'm having a hard time getting under 15% body fat. You're just eating too many calories. So increase your caloric expenditure, reduce your calories, and instead of mega dosing all this meat, why don't you have a little bit of carbs and vegetables for fiber to balance everything out? Because you're clearly at risk, judging from your dad having a heart attack very early on and needing ezetimibe and Repatha to bring the cholesterol levels down. So you need to be proactive and just make sure that you do it right from tomorrow onwards. And strip loin, ground chicken, I mean, you can eat beef. It's fine, just eat less. You know, sirloin at dinner, you probably didn't have any vegetables in the past. I mean, if you eat 4 to 7 grams of fiber per day, that's your major fucking problem already. So increase that to 50 grams from vegetables. And whatever vegetable you can digest, those are the vegetables you eat a lot of. And then add a little bit of carbohydrates to slow the digestion of the fats. But next time when you do blood work, just go and fast it. It's probably not as bad as it is now. Carbs are very low, no alcohol, don't smoke. All right. Well, you know what to do? Innovate Innovative Fitness Products joined the Vigorous crew and asked, can you homebrew testosterone base without benzoyl alcohol and benzoyl benzoate in sesame, grapeseed, or silymarin oil? I have no idea. I'm not a homebrewer. I've never homebrewed anything myself. I know guys that homebrew, but I've never asked them how they make their testosterone base. Even though I see testosterone base available in MCT oil with a little bit of BA and BB. So maybe that's something you can look into, but I would recommend you to sign up for Chase Aaron's membership site, who talks about homebrewing at length, but it's not something that I'm specialized in. So ask somebody else. Jesse R. also joined the Vigorous crew. Igor, there are literally videos about it. Yeah, well, it's pointless, right? To say that there's videos about it, because nobody knows that YouTube has a search function. So I'd rather ask. All right, let's get into some member questions. Office asked, hey, Steve, I don't have any questions, but I'm here to say thank you a lot for your effort. Well, somebody has to do it. Might as well be me. Right? For all the guys that don't want to use the search function, I'm here every Saturday to give you the exact same answers that I have deep dives about, but I'll take your money nonetheless. Right? If you want to pay me for the exact same content that is already there, I'll be here with open arms. Henry Fem asks, for bulking on tests, would berberine and a good diet be a good idea to maintain good insulin sensitivity and nutrient partitioning and lean body composition, or would mTOR inhibition hinder gains? Now, I think berberine is totally fine, but it's not magic. Right? Caloric management and doing some cardio is probably better for nutrient partitioning, including insulin, IGF-1, and some of the steroids. Those will keep you leaner than the berberine will. Right? Berberine is just the cherry on top. And I would say that if you want to maintain insulin sensitivity, you have to look into the micronutrients like magnesium, vitamin D, what else? A couple other micronutrients, it's already blanked out there, which are important, right? And in that sense, if you keep your skeletal muscle not 100% full, but let's say 95% full of glycogen, your insulin sensitivity should always be good. So a lot of guys, they overdo it in the off season. They eat way too many carbs. They just slam carbs. It's getting hot in here. They slam carbs in an attempt to gain size, when in reality they're just getting fatter because their carbohydrate stores are chronically saturated. Their intramuscular triglycerides are also saturated. And now they lose insulin sensitivity, and now the nutrients, particularly the micronutrients and the proteins, are not even getting to the skeletal muscle because they're full with fat and carbs. So don't eat so fucking much during the off season. Otherwise, you just get fat. All right, so you eat 10% increases. Oh, fucking, let me just link this step-by-step cycle design, which I have a video about. Oh my God. All right. First video I'll link. Step-by-step cycle design, it's called. So you know exactly how to increase your calories and how to increase the drugs. Dubster Buster asked, hey, Steve, please elaborate on the anabolic to androgenic ratio. Also made a deep dive on that. As in, Halotestin's anabolic score is 1900, and the androgenic rating was at 700 or something like that. But it isn't popular for building muscle. Also, Anavar has a higher anabolic score than Anadrol, but Anavar considered less potent. Yeah, because the anabolic to androgenic ratio is based on bullshit. I debunked it already. Let me link it down below in case you are unaware of this masterful deep dive that I released a while ago. And it's only 55 minutes, dude. Yeah, I don't have time for that. Yes, you do. You're watching bullshit on YouTube. It's not educating you. So you better watch this. So, long story short, the anabolic to androgenic ratio is determined on the levator ani muscle and the ventral prostate of rats, and that has nothing to do with skeletal muscle. So that's debunked number one there. It's on rats. So how much of that translates into humans? And most of the Hirschberger bioassays that determine the anabolic to androgenic ratio have not been standardized, and they allow for dosing discrepancies of 200%. So how can you compare a reference standard of testosterone propionates at 200% the dose of an oral steroid without an ester at, let's say, 100%, right? And then the ester, the propionate, has to be metabolized off. So you have different pharmacodynamics and pharmacokinetics compared to the Anavar that you're comparing it to, and the dosages are different. And then even when you compare the molecular weight, there's a huge discrepancy there as well. So basically, long story short, the anabolic to androgenic ratios are horseshit. And I would not design a cycle based on those arbitrary numbers which are stemming from the 60s and 70s. And then Trenbolone has been updated as of recently. There's a good amount of re-standardized Hertzberger bioassays performed on Trenbolone compared to testosterone propionate or testosterone, right? Again, it's all over the place. So, and there you can see that there's a dose response curve. At lower dosages, Trenbolone is very selective, very anabolic, and not androgenic at all. But as the dose increase, just like the Buvelo, for example, as the dosage increase, it starts to overlap into other receptors. And in this case of Trenbolone, it starts to overlap into other tissues. So Trenbolone might be a selective androgen receptor modulator at a single milligram dose, just like SARMs, like Ostarine or LGD, for example. But as the dosage escalates upwards for actual anabolism of skeletal muscle, the selectivity is lost and you still get side effects. But I'll discuss that in the Trenbolone video, which I will also link down below, because you clearly didn't watch that as well. Let me do the short version, which is based on the anabolic dissociation. All right, next one. James. Steve, from your recent podcast with Kurt Havens, I gathered that for natural, progressive overload is mandatory for hypertrophy, while for enhanced, it is possible to grow without, while aiming for the pump. Is this correct interpretation? You know what's the most important thing for you to do as a training, somebody who trains, is to enjoy yourself in the gym. That's the most sustainable. So I think progressive overload works for naturals and for enhanced lifters. The problem is enhanced lifters ultimately get so fucking strong that progressive overload is just going to tear them apart. And you don't see that with naturals, right? Naturals don't have, a compromised tendons from their muscles growing way too fast, or altered collagen synthesis in the connective tissue because they take Winstrol or other compounds which are known to, mess with the connective tissue. So I would say that progressive overload is mandatory up until a certain point. And once you are fucking strong and you know how to contract the muscles well, and you really have a feel for your body, maybe 10 years into your lifting career, then yes, you can chase the pump. But dude, I've been lifting for over 25 years and I don't chase the pump. I still follow, progressive overload principles, even though I don't try to progressively overload. I still try to overload either with reps or better execution. So my rep tempo has slowed down significantly. I do pauses, I do stretches. Instead of doing 6 reps with heavy weights, I do the same weights, but 12 reps, paused. So the weight didn't go up, but the time under tension doubled or tripled. And that's quite significant as well. So all these things follow under progressive overload, but at one point you're just too strong that it's better not to increase the weight anymore. And you need to, find stimulation elsewhere. So I just decided to do everything 9 to 12 reps. No more 6 rep stuff. I'll fucking break, man. Too old for that shit. James asks, my dear and loving uncle, in the same way as there is an anabolic to androgenic dissociation, is there skeletal cardiac muscle dissociation? I have no idea. I couldn't find anything like that in scientific evidence. But if you have knowledge of that, then please show it to me. Please elaborate on the cause of it. Does the cardiac muscle express more of the pathways that metabolize the androgens more than muscle through the 3-alpha hydroxysteroid dehydrogenase enzymes? I have no fucking idea, dude. I have no idea. I'm right. The notes for the Nandrolone deep dive are done. There are some signs of left ventricular hypertrophy and cardiac enlargement compared to other steroids, but they don't go into an anabolic or a cardiac, a skeletal muscle or cardiac muscle dissociation. It's not been investigated, so I have no idea. And I have no idea if some tissues metabolize steroids faster through the 3-alpha hydroxysteroid dehydrogenase enzymes or other enzymes, because that data is also not there. So I don't know. I don't know, but if you know and you have some scientific evidence to support it, then email it over. I wasn't able to find anything like that on PubMed. Downsize asks, 82 kilos and with 250 milligrams testosterone per week only. All right, I was 95 kilos in that dose, but that's okay. Total testosterone is 934 nanograms per deciliter. Free testosterone is over the reference range. Estradiol is only 24. Am I just a low aromatizer? Yeah, I suppose so. Yeah, because, well, to be fair, your testosterone should be 2,300 at least. So I would say that your testosterone is fucking underdosed. Because your testosterone being that high, it looks like you're on 1,000 milligrams of test. And your estrogen, could be a representative of that. Or 100 milligrams of test, sorry. Most guys get to the top of the reference range in 100, 125 milligrams of test. So I would switch brands, man. I would switch fucking brands because 250 milligrams of test brings me and most people to 2,200 to 2,500, depending on how frequent you inject and when you do blood work in comparison to your injections. But yeah, you could be a low aromatizer because your estradiol is in the middle of the range, but your testosterone is at the top of the reference range. So you might be a fast metabolizer, testosterone and estradiol. That's why your levels are so low. But I suspect that your testosterone is just severely underdosed. You need to switch to something better. And you might be a low aromatizer, which is good, that saves you aromatase inhibitors when you actually switch to a real dose. Because if you go to actual 250 milligrams testosterone per week, you might end up at an estradiol level of 50 picograms per milliliter, but your testosterone levels will be double. Hell yeah. The Upser Buster asks, what compounds, new or old, do you find exciting and want to try? Methylene Blue, it's still on the way. Takes a little bit longer. And SLUPP332, because Dr. Dean St. Mart was running it. He's actually competing this weekend. He's competing today. Let me see if there's anything on Instagram. No. All right, guys, wish Dr. Dean good luck. He looked nasty last time I saw his update. So he was raving about SLU. And so I ordered some of that using his discount code. So that's on the way. And Methylene Blue is on the way. I really want to give that a try at 5 to 10 milligrams a couple times a week. And that's about it. Yeah, that's about it. Until something really, really groundbreaking comes out. But most of the stuff I already tried. I started Cerebral Lysin 2 days ago. So on August the 1st, so I'm 2 injections in. I'll do another shot tonight. And then over the next 2 months, I'll prepare for a Cerebral Lysin deep dive. There's only 600 studies or something. I've been running Cerebral Lysin in a very long time. So but of course, I already have videos on that and I already tried it. Man, what else? Mint? I don't know. Last time I ran Trembolone, I got a little bit of gyno. So I got to make sure that the Primo and the Mastrone is in there. But as of now, I'm just going to ramp up the steroids a little bit. 150 test, 150 Primo, 150 Mastrone. And then maybe later on throw in a little bit of Tren and maybe a little bit of injectable Winstrol. And then prep for the Mr. Olympia. Look fucking jacked. Yeah. I'm holding so much water from this growth hormone, dude. It's insane. The 6 pickles that I eat every day is not helping. So I decided next week I adjusted my diet. I'm only going to have 1 pickle instead of 6, right? 3 in the morning, 3 in the evening. I'm going to have 1 at the end of the day because I think I'm overdoing it a little bit. My water retention in the ankles is so bad. And so my face is also. Anyway, that has nothing to do with compounds, but that's just adjustments going forward. I will do blood work tomorrow first, obviously. I had to make a video about that. I've been too lazy making videos for a very long time. So what better place is there to start with a blood work video? Hey, Steve, now that you've done 10 IU's growth hormone combined with relatively low dosages, would you say more growth hormone is better for building muscle, not sticking to 1 IU growth hormone for every 250 milligrams of gear? No, that is still the best way to do it because I have not gained any fucking size, just fullness and fat loss. So the reason why I'm running 10 IU's per day right now is fat loss, and it's fucking cheap. I get a sweet fucking deal. For 10 IU's of growth hormone, I'm spending about $12 a day. So that's an equivalent of 2-3 IU's pharmaceutical grade. So my expenses are going down, but my total intake of growth hormone is way up. So I'm like, you know what? This is the time. I'm not sure how long this sweet deal is going to last. So I stocked up. I have more than enough to last me over to the Mr. Olympia. So I'm going to run 10 IUs per day up until the Mr. Olympia. Pull it out, let's say a week before I fly, because the last time I flew to, when I flew to Dubai, I stopped it the day before. And man, did I have terrible edema when I was in Dubai the first 3 days. It was so bad that I had to buy some Lasix, and then I lost 12 pounds overnight. 5 kilos. Yeah, it was insane. And that's after fasting, you know? So I shot my 10 IUs of growth hormone the day before I flew. Then I didn't eat anything all the way until I arrived in Dubai. So I was fasting for, I think, 16 hours, 18 hours, give or take. And I was so bloated, dude. It was insane. So I'm going to stop the growth hormone a week before I fly. And the weird thing is, Aaron is running 10 IU's growth hormone, the exact same brand, and he's not watery at all. So goes to show you how different people respond differently. He's lean as fuck right now. So, but he's also way more muscular. So maybe his metabolic rate is a little bit better than mine. So I would say if you want to grow, for 10 IUs of growth hormone, I would rather run 2,500 milligrams steroids with this and a boatload of food and then grow. But I'm not growing at all. I'm just getting a little bit fuller. You know, the arms are pretty much the same size. It's just restoring fullness. And I'm sure I can get them better if I increase the steroids and increase the food a little bit. But I'm already 230 pounds and I'm happy right here. So the only reason why the growth hormone dosages are high is because it's fucking cheap. Biscup asks, sounds like you're not a big fan of T3. Is that correct? No, I'm a fan of T3 when it's warranted, but most guys don't need it. So if metabolism shows on blood work that total and free T3 levels are low and thyroid stimulating hormone levels are creeping up, even though T4 is supplemented and you're doing everything right with the selenium, the iodine, the growth hormone, and anything else that could boost metabolism, if it's still going down, 25 micrograms T3 in the morning or before bed, I'm not against it. I'm considering T3 32.5 to 50 micrograms per day, especially to have low T3-like symptoms. Bloods look good, though. Just T3 low, normal. Selenium, iodine, etc. on point. Well, if your T3 was really low, your thyroid-stimulating hormone would be sky high, or at least towards the top of the reference range. So until that happens, I would look elsewhere. Because coming off thyroid medications is not easy. Let me link a video on how to come off thyroid medications. Oh, yeah, I have that video on that too, dude. I have a video on everything. And if I don't have a video about it, then it's probably not interesting to make a video for. Biscup asks, I'm slowly trying to move from in-person to online consultations, non-PED. So when you first started online coaching and consultations, how much did you charge? And were you already somewhat big on YouTube and Insta? No, I was not on YouTube, and I was not on, I had like 3,000, 5,000 followers on Instagram. I have 60,000 now. 60,000! I'm surprised. I checked it today. Yeah. Of course, it's not focusing. Well, go to my Instagram and have a look. 60.3. 60,300 followers. That's a lot. How much did I charge? I don't know. I think I started with $100 per hour for in-person and online consultations. It didn't really matter to me. And in person, I would only do around the gym, and I didn't want to fucking travel for that. For $100, no way. Now I only do online. A lot of people still want to meet me here in Thailand, and I tell them I don't have time. It's the travel time added, and people then trying to proceed. Hey, you want to hang out? Yeah, let me buy dinner. I have some more questions. Like that shit is just fucking annoying. So online consultations only. I'm not in the business of getting paid for friendship. If you want to pay for friendship, then Soy Cowboy, Soy Nana, right? Patpong Plaza or Patpong. Those are the places to do that, but not with me, buddy. So you just start at a price that you feel is worth your time, and then you increase the rates as the demand goes up. It's that simple. It's that funky simple. As you get more demand, you increase the rate. Or if you're really confident in your abilities and you know that you can deliver, you have high rates. Charge $500 an hour. It's up to you. But you better fucking deliver, dude. And you know that you're delivering when you have recurring customers that stay with you for over a decade. Then you know you're delivering. Because some guys just keep coming back for more and more and more, and you change their entire lives, whether that's from a PED perspective, training perspective, nutritional perspective, or overall quality of life perspective. And as you're leveling up, they're leveling up, and they can afford you nonetheless. Maximal, hey Steve, from your entrepreneur series, serotonin optimizing protocol. If I skip the fasted cardio walk one day and want to work right away, when do I add the breakfast stack to the walking stack altogether? I can't exactly remember what the breakfast stack and the walking stack is, but they do have some overlap. So what I would say is whatever overlaps, don't double up on that. But whatever is not in the breakfast stack, then or not in the waking stack, just combine that together. And as long as there's no overlap, then you should be fine. But I think the only difference is coffee and maybe maybe carnitine. So I don't know. Combine them together, but don't double up the dose. So if you see 500 milligrams L-tryptophan with the breakfast stack and the waking stack, then take that only once, not 1,000, just 500 milligrams L-tryptophan. Hey Steve, when are you going to upload your episode with Big Paul on Spotify? It's in his, I don't know. Isn't it already up there? I'll have to check with my guy. I have somebody who does that for me. So if it's not there, I'll check. Thanks for mentioning it. All right. Possible defects in babies conceived on cycle. There seems to be an alarming or an increased risk of autism. But then again, most of the people that I know are bodybuilders. And if you see autism in parents, and one of them was a bodybuilder or the guy was on cycle, then is that a higher percentage compared to general population or the same? Right? I don't know. But that's I see anecdotally more autism with kids conceived on cycle. And whether that's from the oxidative stress from the training that occurs at a higher rate when you're on cycle, I'm not entirely sure. I decided to come off everything, and we have 3 healthy embryos, which will start implanting soon. But that's through IVF, because we were unsuccessful trying to conceive naturally, even though my fertility parameters are absolutely fucking legendary. Aaron Grid, I think I just discovered a new joy in life. Your parents bring you homemade food. It's cabbage stew, and I think I'm going to become a bloodlord. Man, I never will be lean with food like this. You moved out, right? You got to learn how to cook your own food now, man. Come on. Michael Harry, do you consider doing a deep dive in methylene blue? Yes, I will, but I first need some experience with it. So once that arrives, I'll get some experience with it so I can, add my personal touch to it, because I only do deep dives on stuff that I've used. I'm not one of those educators. I fucking hate this shit, that just read studies and have nothing to contribute to the scientific evidence through their own personal experience and discussing this with many a client. So I'm not the guy to do that. I'm a hands-on first and then scientific evidence later on, and I'll fill in the fucking gaps, because the scientific evidence is never complete. And let's be honest, we are not using methylene blue or any of these performance-enhancing drugs for their intended medical purposes, and not using the medical recommended dosages either. So I'll use that. It's on the to-do list. It should be done by the end of the year. We have 4 months left, so stay tuned. First, I got to do the Nandrolone video. And guys, if you think that the pacing of the videos is slower, it's because I'm slowly unwinding. I don't want to do 80-hour weeks anymore. I'm fucking sick of it. So I make videos when I am in the good mood. I'll research when I'm in a good mood. And if I feel that something else is more pressing, like my cats or my wife, or just playing video games, then that's what I'm going to do. It's that simple. So you can beg me all you want, but it's done when it's done. And asking about things repeatedly is just going to not make me do it out of spite. No, no, it's not that bad, but it just makes me fucking annoyed. Like, why are these guys so needy? Do your own fucking research. Thomas Schnepp, I've switched over to Merck Ovitrelle based off your HGH deep dive video series. I have the 250 microgram 6,500 IU in a half a milliliter preloaded syringe, not the automatic injector pen. Yes, so what you're going to have to do is mix 0.7 or 0.8. I should have included this in the deep dive. Excuse me. Let me do some quick calculations. How are we going to get 5,000 IUs per 1 ml? Okay. 0.5 divided by 6,500. Fuck. Man, how am I going to calculate this? 5,000 divided by 6,500. Jesus Christ. Why is this thing not working? All right, we need 1.3 mLs. Yeah, so we need to add 0.8 milliliters of bacteriostatic water. So here's what we're going to do. You get yourself one sterile vial on Amazon. I think it's in my Amazon store link down below. And otherwise, you just type in sterile vial and you'll get the one that is the most logical to you. You know, Amazon links, the kickback that you get from it is so fucking minuscule. I don't even want to search and make one for you. Get a sterile vial, get bacteriostatic water, inject the full 6,500 IUs or 250 micrograms Merck Ovitrelle in 0.5 milliliters liquid into the sterile vial and add 0.8 milliliters of bacteriostatic water. Now you have 5,000 IUs HGH per 1 ml, and you can dose it accordingly, like you would use a 5,000 IU per 1 milliliter Pregnil or other urine purified HGH brand. So this is the way to do it. All right, next one. Oh, you already asked. What would be the best way to split up the 270 IUs? Well, you can do 250 IUs 3 times per week, in which case, if you add in 0.8 milliliters bacteriostatic water for a 6,500 IU per 1.3 milliliter solution, or 5,000 IU per 1 milliliter solution, then all you need to do is 1 divided by 5,000 times 250 is 0.05 milliliters or 5 IUs on the insulin syringe. And if you need 270, well, yeah, I'm not even going to calculate this for you. You'll figure it out. You'll figure it out. Backloading insulin syringes you wouldn't have to do because you're transferring it to a sterile vial. Coached by Roland, minimal effective dose of Boldenone Natty to boost appetite. I don't want to use EQ due to a long half-life. I mean, Boldenone and Destinate and Annotate, it's not going to vary that much, dude. It's not going to vary that much. And you're using Decadent. That's a long half-life. What the fuck are you talking about? Just use Boldenone. Is Boldenone Annotate even a thing? Is that even available? Well, I haven't done the Boldenone deep dive yet, but I would say that boosting your appetite would come from, I don't know, 300 milligrams per week. Yeah. On top of 200 milligrams Deca and 500 milligrams test. I would say 300 milligrams per week, but if you don't want to use an AI, then you probably need 700 milligrams per week just to keep the estrogen in range on this much aromatizing compounds. Is growth hormone T4 a good combination to run without any other steroids for muscle building? I've seen rumors that T4 with growth hormone is a golden combo to run. To keep your metabolism going, will that build muscle? Not entirely. Growth hormone is an anti-aging drug, and T4 is a metabolism drug. So even if you go to the gym, you train balls to the wall, and you're at your peak natural potential, I don't think you're going to grow any significant amount of muscle tissue, but you might get a little bit denser and might initiate a little bit of fat loss. That's it, man. Dude, I'm running 10 IUs of growth hormone right now with steroids, and I'm not getting much muscle. You know, if I were to increase my food and throw more steroids at it, obviously. But no, man, growth hormone is a poor muscle builder unless you run it with steroids and training and proper nutrition. But if you're going to run 2 IUs of growth hormone with 50 micrograms T4 and you expect magic, then the only person who's going to get magic out of you is your dealer, because you're going to be spending a lot of money. Regarding my earlier question, but in your Tren-like versus Anavar video, use the anabolic rating to conclude that anabolic is superior milligram for milligram. Those videos are old, man. Those videos are old. And I specifically mentioned in that video that the anabolic to androgenic rating is not a very good way to measure. You would go milligram for milligram, and you would say that what is it called? Anavar is superior. So this is why I keep updating videos. This is why I made an Anavar and Turinabol deep dive. Go watch those. Those are more up to date. What is Steve's opinion on comparing body composition changes comparing Anavar and Primo on 100 milligram weekly dose for both? You'll probably look better on Anavar because Primo has enanthate ester, means that those 100 milligrams that you're injecting only gives you 70 milligrams of Primo. And again, milligram for milligram, I would say that Anavar is a little bit more potent. So if you inject 130 milligrams of Primo, 135 milligrams of Primo per week, and take 100 milligrams of Anavar per week, I would say that on Anavar you're still going to look better. But it's still best to run both. And why limit yourself to one when you can run both? Or are you that fucking broke? You know? If you're so broke that you can't run 1 ampule of Mirabegron and 70 milligrams of Anavar, I mean, fuck, that's what I'm doing right now. I don't think anybody's that broke to run that protocol per week. And otherwise, you have no business injecting shit. Eric 93 on 300 milligrams of test, 3 IUs per day growth hormone. I lift 5 times per week and get 200 grams of protein. I'm 178 pounds, cutting 1 pound per week. Body scans. Okay, body weight. I'm assuming I'm losing like 35% of weight as lean mass. Anything I can do to lose less lean mass? Yeah, eat more protein and train fucking harder. You shouldn't be, even on 200 grams of protein, you shouldn't be losing any lean mass. You can lose fullness, but you're just probably training like a fucking sissy. Dude, I was on 250 milligrams of test per week. I just fucking gained size, and I gained strength all the way through my diet. So you're lifting 5 times per week, but I don't think you're lifting hard enough. And maybe you need to increase your protein to 250 grams, 275 grams. It's not a bad thing to eat more protein. You should not be losing 35% of weight as lean mass. It is, stop following reps in reserve. You just go to fucking failure like a real man. Injectable oxytocin, 20 IUs per milliliter for veterinary use instead of 20 IUs intranasal. Risks using the vet product. I've never used vet products, but you're welcome to give it a try. And let us know next week or 2 weeks from now. Can I start HRT protocol immediately after testicular function HCG protocol for 6 weeks? Yes, but I would recommend you to do some blood work first to see where your testicular function ended up at 1,000 IUs HCG 3 times per week. And then you need to drop the dose of the HCG to 250 IUs, start the TRT protocol, do your blood work 4 weeks into that to see if you need an aromatase inhibitor. And if your estrogen levels were already high in 1,000 IUs HCG 3 times per week, then you definitely need an aromatase inhibitor on TRT plus HCG. If you want to go with injectable oxytocin, I know if the vet product has some benzoyl alcohol in there for sterility purposes, then feel free to go for it. But personally, I wouldn't use it. From your experience, which SSRI is the least likely to give you sexual side effects? Well, I've only tried fluvoxamine and it gave me zero sexual side effects because I use steroids alongside of them. And steroids are known to increase your sexual desires. So I never used fluvoxamine when I was off steroids. So I can't say that it gave me any sexual side effects. And I have no experience with other SSRIs. So, well, that's that then. Could my sodium levels of bottom of the reference range be the sole reason I tend to cramp after a workout? Eat lots of sodium. Am I training too long? Potassium is at the top of the range. I hydrate well. 2,500 milligrams magnesium glycinate every day. Yeah, it could be. Maybe you're not eating enough carbohydrates to shuttle to help with sodium retention in skeletal muscle. And if your potassium levels are at the top of the range, it sounds to me that your glycogen stores are also low, which causes potassium to leak into the bloodstream. If you're taking telmisartan with hydrochlorothiazide at the same time, you could have low sodium and high potassium levels. And if you hydrate well, but not eating enough sodium, you say, I eat lots of sodium, but how much? I mean, you know how much magnesium you're taking, but you're not specifying how much sodium. So start tracking that and maybe add a pickle to every meal, like I did. And then you never cramp. I can only lift in the evening. Vitamin C, curcumin, bad to take post-workout from a hypertrophy standpoint, not only if you train like a little bitch. I don't think vitamin C, curcumin, or anything else that has antioxidant properties or blunts the post-exercise stress response will blunt hypertrophy unless you train like a fucking loser. I've taken 5,000 milligrams vitamin C and curcumin pre, post, during the day multiple times, and I still fucking grow. I'm still bigger than most people, even when I don't take steroids. So the scientific evidence is one thing. And if you let that scientific evidence get into your head, and now you combine that with reps from reserve and doing everything 20 reps because Brad Schoenfeld showed that there's no difference between 20 reps and 6 reps, then yes, of course you're going to look like a skinny little bitch. But real men that train hard, they're not afraid to take a little bit of vitamin C and curcumin. Morning ADHD meds can do vitamin C, curcumin, tend to include bioperine, which may potentiate. Where's the rest of the question? Where's the rest of the question? Well, if you can't take them with your ADHD meds, then take it a couple hours later. But I would not be worried about any post-exercise stress response or blunting hypertrophy. And I think there was even a more recent study that went over all of the previously performed studies. I think I highlighted that in the Anabolic Roundtable episode 2. It must be in the citations there somewhere. That show that it's inconclusive, right? I mean, many of these studies have been performed, but dude, if that's, yeah, I don't know. Go watch the stock market right now. Worry about that. I can't take vitamin C post workout. Otherwise, I'll be skinny. Ah. Yes. Yes, I will do blood work before and after because the methylene blue will arrive after I do blood work tomorrow. But the cerebralizin is already in. Left the question above, but it won't let me super chat it. Tanner Wolf. All right. Let's start scrolling upwards. I don't see your question, dude. No, I don't see your question. So post it again. And if it doesn't go through, then you're probably using blocked words. My blocked word list is extensive because people are retarded. And they need to be moderated because otherwise my brain will bleed. So post it again. I don't see it. Maybe some of my mods deleted it already. Any tips on avoiding Decadic when running Nandrolone decanoate? Yeah, replace that with Primo Bolin, and then you don't have Decadic. What's up, Ryan? When we chatted about DHT derivatives, you mentioned your ARs, androgen receptors love DHT derivatives more than your inherent DHT. Your take on running DHT derivatives year-round, assuming monitoring of SHBG in the case of Proviron, lipids with Primobolan, etc. I'm not against it, man. I mean, if you run, let's say, 150 tests and 150 Primo or 125 Primo year-round, I mean, yeah. I mean, now I'm going to start test Primo Mastro and Anavar. I'm going to use a little bit higher dosages than before to ramp up for the Olympia to match Chase Iron's body weight around 230 pounds and show up a little bit bigger than usual. But then I'll probably go to testing Primo. Excuse me, testing Primo again. Of course, my lipids will not be perfect, but I'm eating perfectly most of the time. I'm using ezetimibe, fish oil, citrus bergamot, etc. So my lipids are the best they can be. And how much of a difference would 300 tests and an aromatase inhibitor versus 150 tests and 150 Primo be regarding my lipids and SHBG levels? I would say it's negligible. So I'm not against it. I like DHT derivatives, positive aggression, great libido, and hair loss. I don't give a fuck about because I trim the skull every other day, man. I'd rather be bald. Not have to do that shit. Takes too much time. So I'm not against it, but again, everybody's blood work is different. So Ryan, if your blood work is shit on testing Primo or testing Provarin or testing Mastrone, then obviously you need to cycle off of it once in a while. And you do have to worry about hair loss. So from the Provarin that you used, the hair loss was substantial, right? So that one you can scratch off the list. And maybe you don't get that response from Primo, or maybe you don't get that response from Mastrone, and that makes those compounds more sustainable for you as an individual. Welcome for joining, by the way. Free Me USA. After watching the carrier oil videos, I could not find any information on rice bran oil. Do you have any feedback on the suitability of rice bran oil as a carrier? I've never heard anybody use rice bran oil as a carrier oil. I use it for cooking every single day because it has a very high smoke point or flame point, whatever it is. But as a carrier oil, I don't know. Could be. If you can brew with it, I would just go with MCT, man. MCT or castor oil. Castor oil for pharmaceuticals and MCT for underground labs. But if you want to homebrew with rice bran oil, then because you're a hothead and you expect that your body temperature will go sky fucking high, you don't want it to turn rancid, then yes, go with rice bran oil. Go for it. Tanner Wolf, question below. I don't see you, buddy. I don't see it. Keep trying. I don't see your question anywhere in the chat. So keep trying. Find some word combination, or you know what? Otherwise, send it to me by Instagram. Let's do that. Better not be offensive, dude. Here, send it to me on Instagram, and I'll read it from the... I'll have a look. And don't tell me you don't have an Instagram account. I don't have an Instagram account. You're not even a real person. What are your thoughts on where the price of XRP is headed? You shouldn't even think about XRP. What the fuck is wrong with you? XRP is dead. XRP. Where the price of XRP is. XRP is dead. Fuck. What's wrong with you, man? Learn how to learn investment. Look at the charts. XRP it didn't even move after the lawsuits. This is not something you trade in. I would rather buy Doge or Pepe or I don't know, fucking MyCock or whatever it's called. All these meme coins, AI projects. XRP. Fuck you, dude. What's wrong with you? Bitcoin. I sold when it broke trend at 67,000. I wanted to sell at 70,300 up to 71,000. Didn't hit it. It hit 70,000 and it dropped. So when it broke support, I sold around, what was it, 66, 67,000. And now we're waiting for lower prices. It's now stuck at the 200-day moving average. It's actually below it. So let's see if this Fibonacci at the 0382 holds up over the weekend, just like it did last time. But if it goes up to the 0.5 and then breaks again, I'm buying back in at 54, 52, man. It's XRP. Cardano. God damn, dude. That's 2018. Not 2024. 2024 Solana, AVAX, that kind of shit. All right, stick with the times. All right. We have a question from Tanner Wolf, who actually looks sexy as hell, but he's not following me. What's wrong with you, man? You look fucking jacked. All right, his question is, I'm currently on growth hormone, Mirabegron, 5-amino-1-MQ to my bodybuilding show. Should I take it all the way throughout or stop some days out? What do you recommend? Okay, so none of those words should have been blocked. I have no idea why your question didn't go through. So he's running growth hormone, Mirabegron, and 5-amino-1-MQ. I would stop the growth hormone at 2 weeks out. Outside the Mirabegron 1 week before you start carb loading, similarly to how you would stop most stimulants about 1 week before carb loading. You don't need it when you're depleting because you're then in such a steep caloric deficit that you don't need any fat burners. And that's, 1 week before carb loading. That's usually around 10 days before the show. You need to sleep. Sleep, eat, and post. That's all you need to do. 5-amino 1-MQ, I would run up until the point you start carb loading. So growth hormone, 2 weeks out, Mirabegron, 10 days out, and 5-amino 1-MQ, let's say 4 days out. I would not take it all the way up to the show. You look great, by the way. Fucking jacked. I wish you all the best in your bodybuilding show. And if you win, then, well, another soul saved. All right. Impressive XRP. Saying the 0. 0. Oh, come on, Steve. I know how to cook food. Don't ground me for that. Dude, cook your own shit. Fuck. You moved out of the house. My mom made big pot. She had some leftover and brought it. How can I resist? Okay, if she made some leftovers, then fine. It's like the classic story, right? You move out and then your mom misses you. She starts cooking you food. I moved out, but I moved 9,500 kilometers away. Hey, but I will tell you this. When I was at home, every time my mom cooked, I fucking ate it. I ate the whole fucking thing. My mom makes excellent Indonesian food because in Holland we don't have dishes of our own. Well, we do have them, but they're absolutely horrible to eat. So my mom cooked beautiful Indonesian, like Indonesian rice table with like a million different dishes. I had everything over the course of 2 days. And she was like, but this is a week worth of food. I said, Mom, I love you too. And I ate all of her homemade chocolates. That's why I'm still so bloated from Holland. 100 likes for a free BTC signal. I just gave you one. Wait until it hits the bottom of the Fibonacci level. But fuck, man, then it's really far from the 200-day moving average. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Instead, they're below a week. Well, last time it stayed, what, one? This is, when was this? August 2023 to 16 October. Oh, holy shit. That's the exact same fucking time of the year. Where did it come down to? I might see a repeat of the pattern. Go to the chart. August 16 to 19 October, and then it started rallying, right? November, December. Yeah, it might just happen again. End of the year is usually good time. So August is usually kind of shit. So I don't know. See you at 52,000. I'm going to go in hard. I heard hospital burns wards using tesamorelin to help redistribute uneven fat deposits on healing burn victims. If this is the case, then tesamorelin could theoretically be used to treat stubborn fat areas. What do you think? I never heard of that. I would rather look into Helios, injectable clenbuterol with yohimbine. I know that spot reduces fat like crazy. Or injectable glucagon, that spot reduces fat like crazy. But I've never heard anybody in the fitness community that used tesamorelin said that they magically started losing body fat at the injection site. And otherwise, I would have included it in the stubborn body fat area video, right? So let me link that. Stubborn. Because I know exactly what works. And that's what I put in the video. So, you have $20 to spend on a question like this. I'm sure you're financially secure. I challenge you to run a protocol with tesamorelin at the dose that you feel comfortable with, inject it all in the right lower back, and report back to us a month from now. And let us know if the right lower back is significantly less fatty than the left lower back. This is the way to do it. Let us know. Any advice for cycle prostate protection? Recently did an echo on the kidneys, preventative family history. All good, but prostate severely enlarged, over 100 milliliters. Okay. I would not run any steroids and keep your inflammation low. PSA is okay. Seeing urologist soon. I would not run anything, dude. I would not run anything. Look at the dinyl that has been shown to block androgen receptors in the prostate, not on skeletal muscle. There's many studies that show this. Let me see. I just sent this to somebody else. Boom. Oh. That is homework. These 3 studies. It's just a small selection of studies that show that dinyl blocks the androgen receptor in prostate cancer. If your prostate is severely enlarged, I would get that under control before running any steroids. Or prostate protection, because most guys do not experience any prostate enlargement on cycle unless they really ramp up the steroids and let their estrogen run wild. And they're in a high inflammatory state from the synthetic carrier oils. In those contexts, I see enlarged prostates, but in most cases, guys that follow the lifestyle and make sure that they're healthy, they don't have any issues with their prostate. So even when I was blasting my socks off, my prostate was exactly the same size as it was when I was off cycle. So, but maybe that's just me. Any advantage of using exogenous T3 and T4 and T3 in the off-season to keep levels at the top of the reference range? Taking 6, I use growth hormone and Mast, testosterone, masteron, and Primo. Maybe a replacement dose of 25 micrograms T4 and 50 micrograms 25 micrograms T3 and 50 micrograms T4 at the end of the off season, when it's just almost impossible to eat more food. But this is the caveat: eating more food makes you fuller than it gives you body fat. So if you physically can't eat any more food, but you're still somewhat lean, right? So you're burning through all of these calories, but somehow your digestion is not picking up, and you already followed an elimination diet. T3, nebivolol, insulin, those all come into play, right? To lower your metabolic rate, improve your metabolism, metabolic rate from a heart perspective, so your heart is not eating away these calories that you're eating, and you're not in this fight or flight state too long post-workout. And then the T3 and insulin to help with nutrient partitioning. So, but if your levels are in range, you didn't do an elimination diet yet, and you can still physically eat food, and that's making you fat anyway, then the T3 is not going to do anything for you. You just need to build up your dosages slower, build up your calories slower, and at one point, your metabolism will pick up, and then you can eat more food again, right, and gain more size again. But at 6 IU's growth hormone per day, it's probably impossible to get fat unless you eat like an asshole. Andrew Garcia, is there any lag time in hormone levels when switching over from daily test probe to daily test E? Yes, but it's negligible. Conservative hormone levels dipping, waiting for the test E to reach stable serum concentrations. Well, I mean, when you stop injecting test probe, it will still hold you over for, let's say, 3 to 4 weeks. And it takes about 2 to 4 weeks for test E levels to become stable. So you might have a 1 week point where you have, a little bit of a dip as testosterone propionate comes down and testosterone enanthate comes up. I wouldn't worry about it, man. Micromanaging like this, where you start tapering the test prop dose to estimate where your testosterone enanthate is creeping up, I wouldn't. It's too much effort. You just switch from one day to the next. If you notice anything, it's probably placebo, and the anabolism will continue just the same. And if you're really that sensitive to hormonal fluctuations, then, well, I feel bad. Steve, any idea what might be the price of testosterone enanthate recipient from legal compounding pharmacies in the US? I have no idea. I'm curious how hard the clinic was, but fucking me when I was on legal TRT. Well, compare their prices to what you can get on the underground lab scene, pharmaceuticals on the underground lab scene. AP sells plenty of pharmaceuticals. He's not the cheapest, but he has the best selection of pharmaceuticals. And compare his prices to what you get from the compounding pharmacy. Yeah. Also, $10 donation for L-carnitine shot at the Vegas Olympia booth. Well, so I asked Chase Irons if he was going to bring some L-carnitine, but he didn't want to travel with it. But if you bring your own L-carnitine, well, you can still do shots at the Mr. Olympia booth. I'm not going to stop you. It's all legal. But if you squirt all over the couch that we rented, then you're going to have to pay for it. Squirting blood, that is. Hey, Steve, thanks as always. Ultimate Popeye forearm size stack. I don't know, you tell me. My forearms are kind of shit. But yeah, I would do a lot of wrist curls and Anadrol. And high growth hormone. My forearms are kind of, I don't know, kind of tight on 10 IUs of growth hormone, but I don't have any carpal tunnel. What I do notice is that my shoulders get numb because I always sleep on my side. So I'm kind of like hugging the body pillow, you know, to kind of prevent my arms and legs from going numb, but then my shoulders go numb, like right here. So, but that's a different story. So yeah, I would do Anadrol, a boatload of wrist curls and you know, the forearm raises and maybe high growth hormone. Whatever potentiates a boatload of water retention to get those shin splitting forearm pumps, that's probably going to add size. Hey, Steve, wondering about HCG 750 IOs plus 75 IOs FSH weekly. You mean 250 IOs HCG 3 times per week and 75 IOs FSH daily? At least every other day in between your HCG injections. Does FSH do anything HCG wouldn't? How do I find the ideal ratio? Well, honestly, dude, if you want fertility, 1,000 IOs HCG 3 times per week and 75 IOs FSH every single day is the way to go. Human chorionic gonadotropin stimulates the combined luteinizing hormone chorionic gonadotropin receptor, initiates testosterone synthesis, and this increases intratesticular testosterone, which can activate the Sertoli cells. And when follicle stimulating hormone is activating the FSH receptors, this initiates spermatogenesis. How do you find the ideal ratio? You want HCG high and FSH at least in the middle of the reference range, which 75 IOs FSH every single day does. Is this a good cutting stack? 150 milligrams test, 50 milligrams Primo, 3 IUs growth hormone, 50 micrograms T4. Sounds fine to me. You can cut on anything, assuming that you're doing some cardio and you keep your calories in check. Right? You know this. So, 200 milligrams of steroids, 3 IUs growth hormone, 40 micrograms T4. Sounds fine to me, man. Sounds fine to me. Devado, what can I do to lower red blood cell count without donating blood? Enalapril lowers red blood cell count and hematocrit. Telmisartan does. Methylene blue does. Nattokinase, seropeptase, lumbrokinase, and nosebleeds from heavy squats or deadlifts. But of course, you know, it's difficult to initiate one on demand. So that's about it. Most guys that run telmisartan or methylene blue, they never see their red blood cell count levels high. They might be 52, 54, but certainly not out of range. Is there any real downside to bulking up to 17 to 20% body fat if estrogen is an issue and glucose is in check? Yeah, you look like a fat slob. What's the point? You want to get laid, right? Every time I get close to 15%, I feel like a fucking pig. I got up to 20% maybe one time in my life, and that was in Holland when, you know, you're not getting laid as much because you're single and it's winter and you don't have so much game because you're young, you're like 17, 18 years old. And let me adjust the air conditioning. So at that time, it was okay to get up to 22%. But now, dude, when I get over 12% body fat, I feel like a fucking pig. I feel unfuckable. So I never let it happen. I would rather restrict my calories and bring up the dosages and just train a little bit harder and sleep a little bit longer than bulk up to 17%. I don't see any benefit to bulk over 15%. And the reason why you're 15% is because you started at 8% and you had small caloric adjustments along the way, gaining a little bit of size and body fat in the meantime for every caloric adjustment. And at one point you go from 8 to 12 or 15. because you bulk for months, you know. But once you are at a body weight and a muscular development where you're happy, you don't need to go over 10%, 12% body fat anymore. And the only reason why I get up to 12% body fat is because I get fat on holiday. I eat like fuck. I just fucking want to eat. You know, I'm in this foreign country, all this great food, all this new cuisines and desserts that are available. I just want to eat. But here in man, I could bulk up to 270 pounds now and get leaner. It's not that difficult, man. Fuck, we have a whole channel dedicated to pharmacology. So why would you turn yourself into a fat slob when you don't need to? You just need to practice a little bit diligence. Uncle Steve, how much for coaching long time? How much? I'm retired from coaching, so I don't coach anymore, buddy. If you want to bring me out of retirement, it's $100,000. That's 50,000 for my wife, so I can justify it, and then I'll take the other 50,000. That will be for 4 months, $25,000 a month. That's the price to bring me out of retirement for coaching. And otherwise, I'm not interested. Yeah, because if I buy a good amount of Bitcoin at 52,000, and I'll just wait until it hits, then I'll easily make 100,000 also. So why work? Be available 24/7 where you can make that money elsewhere and still have time for your wife. Like I did it for 15 years, man. I had no free life. Zero messages the whole day. And even though I love the outcome and I love changing people's lives, I did not enjoy having no life at one point. So if you want to bring me out of retirement, it's $100,000, baby. Alice asks, isolated systolic blood pressure is like 130/60. Problems? No, seems fine to me. Might be a little bit, maybe it's better to have 120/70, but I don't see a problem with this, man. Do you follow Rhonda Patrick? Rhonda Patrick. Who's that again? Rhonda Patrick. Oh, no, not really. Not really. I mean, she has some good content from what I've seen. But it's not something for me. It's not hardcore enough. You know? I need some hardcore content. This is too vanilla for me. Matthew Gregg, any ideas why somebody would experience anxiety when cutting out mastrone? Still on test, pregnenolone and DHA. Maybe you get a sudden surge in estradiol. Maybe the lack of DHT-like effects is causing you anxiety. Maybe it's the hormonal fluctuation. Could be a multitude of different things. But yeah, if that's something you notice, then maybe you need to taper it out slowly the next time. But usually a little bit of GABA and L-theanine and that kind of stuff usually reduces the anxiety quite a bit. If you could choose only one, berberine or citrus bergamot for effects on lipids and overall insulin sensitivity. Berberine, because it improves insulin sensitivity and thus might have a positive effect on your lipids, whereas citrus bergamot just has a positive effect on your lipids and minimal positive effects on insulin sensitivity. But taking both is better. What would be a combination of steroids that would mimic the cosmetic effects of Tren without adding Tren? Yes, I'm a pussy. Test Primo and Winstrol. Test Primo and Winstrol. I would say. Get veiny, hard, and dense. Albeit that on Winstrol, obviously your joints will feel brittle and you don't have the positive aggression. Well, if your Primo dose is high enough. But let's say you're running 350 milligrams of Tren, you would probably, let's say you're doing a gram of test, 350 milligrams of Tren per week. You would need to run a gram of test, gram of Primo, and 350 Winstrol. So that's a gram more. And, the body recomposition effects you might still not get. But the cosmetic appearance, I think it's very similar. The fullness, the hardness, the density, the microveins. Yeah, good stuff. I might add in some injectable Winstrol before I go to the Mr. Olympia. 50 milligrams a week, 25 milligrams of Tren. Yeah, I think that's what I'll do. 25 milligrams of Tren per week, 50 milligrams of Winstrol, and then harden the fuck up. Take the growth hormone out. Good shit. Tanner Wolf, didn't I just answer your question that you sent by Instagram? Or is it somebody else? Oh. All right. Somebody tricked you pretending to be me. I should stop doing these fucking Q&As. Honestly. Tanner Wolf, test 150 milligrams per week, 1,000 IOs HCG every other day. Semen analysis came back. None seen. You have fertility. Fertility, I think, is blocked. That word is blocked because people keep asking about my wife, and I got sick of it. Checked HCG directly on a pregnenolone test, came back positive. What problem could be? Maybe you need longer time because the semen analysis takes about, semen takes about 78 days to mature in the testicles and 11 days to swim to the seminal vesicles. So it takes 90 days. And then still you would need to add on another month for the HCG to actually start, initiating spermatogenesis. And you're not taking FSH. So FSH, you need 75 IUs also. With HCG, it might not be enough. So do 3 months, 4 months, 6 months of 1,000 IUs every other day of HCG, and then 75 IUs FSH in between those HCG injections every other day of the week, and then come back in 4 to 6 months. Semen analysis takes time, man. It takes time. Why do you think I was running HCG for a year, then came off, and then added in the FSH, and then 7 or 8 months after adding in the FSH, we felt ready to start conceiving, and then we tried for a year. So it's a long process, dude. By the way, my brother's has IgA nephropathy. Told him about estragalis. Thanks to you. Okay, that's good to hear. Improved his parameters dramatically along his medicine epagliflozin. Okay, that's sodium glucose type 2 inhibitor. That fixed his lipids. Any use on cycle diet? You mean for yourself or for him? Any use on cycle diet? Epagliflozin. I mean, you have empagliflozin and dapagliflozin. Those are very well studied for heart failure. And that might be beneficial if you have very high growth hormone dosages or high blood glucose levels. So I'm not using it. I looked into it. I don't see a reason for it. But if my blood work tells me otherwise, I see my hemoglobin A1C, my fasting insulin levels rise, then I might add in some dapagliflozin or empagliflozin before bed to help keep blood glucose levels in range and potentially reduce water retention. But the last time I ran growth hormone and empagliflozin 25 milligrams per day, I can't say that it did anything for my water retention. So, yeah, it could have some benefits if high growth hormone dosages are skewing with your insulin sensitivity or glucose levels. But besides that, these SGLT2 inhibitors have very good longevity outcomes. That's why Peter Attia keeps using empagliflozin or dapagliflozin. But I haven't really dived into these compounds myself, to be honest. So might be worth looking into, but only if blood work parameters gives you an indication, or you're using them for longevity purposes. Did you get juked by an Instagram troll? Yeah, I guess so. I guess so. Yeah, he's watching too. Following now, sorry. Oh, Leonardo. Fucking piece of shit. Actually, I should block you, right? Or maybe you just send me a question at the right time. But if you send me a question to answer Tanner Wolf, so that's you know what? No, I'm not sure. You were watching though, because now you started following me. This is people, man. This is people. This is humanity nowadays. Somebody pays, and then they're like, "Oh, I can get a question through. I don't have to pay." Well, thank God we still answered Tanner Wolf's question. Sorry it took so long, but add some FSH to your protocol, buddy. Very clever move. No, I don't think it's a clever move. I think it's a shit move, to be honest. Well, this is life, man. This is life. For anyone taking ezetimibe, just had my blood back. 3.3 milligrams got me around minus 40%, 50% of the LDL. There's research reporting low dose, but impossible to cut into quarters, so I cut into thirds. Okay, that's good to know. Tested with the same TRD dose and diet. Okay, maybe you don't need 10 milligrams, just a third. 10 milliliters testosterone enanthate, 200 milligrams per week prescribed from Compounding Clinic is about $100 for me. All right, so that's double the price. Double the price. Fuck, what do I pay for this? Well, I pay like $30 for testosterone. See, I'm using Bayer Testavarans. I pay about $5 an amp. No, that's not true. I pay more. What's the currency rate now? Thai baht to US dollars. Yeah, I pay about $6. So I paid about $60. Oh, but I get a higher milligram dose. So yeah, I pay $50. Man, compounding pharmacies are expensive. Fuck. What are your top Thai foods? My number one is cow soy. Fuck yeah, cow soy is the best. It's technically not Thai food though. Cow soy is from Myanmar. But if you have cow soy with the chicken breast instead of a chicken leg, you can wake me up for that, bro. Hell yeah. Top Thai foods. I like northern food a lot. Yeah. Yeah, I can't remember I haven't had Thai food in a very long time. Gonna be honest. I mostly eat Western food now. When I first got here, I ate a boatload of Thai food, and I knew all the names of the dishes, but I kind of got bored with it. So maybe I'll have some cow soy tomorrow. Let's see. Tomorrow, my wife wanted to go to Dean and DeLuca, which is a branch for Western food. They have an excellent pastrami sandwich. So can't shake the Westerner out of me, man. Andrew Garcia, how does one warm up for their first working set? How much weight for back offset? Okay, I have a dedicated article for this, but let me just guide you through it. So basically, you start to warm up with a weight that you can do 20 reps with for 2 or 3 sets. And then you should get a little bit of a pump depending on how much steroids you take. Like when I take no steroids, I need a three, sometimes even 4 sets of 20 reps just to feel anything. But now I can get it done with 2 sets of 12 reps. So a warm up is just the same weight for how many reps and sets you need to get a little bit of a pump going. Then you start increasing the weight incrementally with a plate, whether that's on the machine or the stack or whatever, right? You just increase it with similar steps, and then you do maybe 6 reps. And when it gets heavy at 6 reps, where the 6th rep you're like, oh fuck, starting to feel it now, and then you take it to failure. And it could be 9 reps, could be 12 reps, could be 15 reps. Then you kind of underestimated the 6th rep, but that's usually what I do. So I warm my way, proper warm up, maybe 3 or 4 sets upwards. And then I do a first working set, and then I usually do a back off set with an increment of weight below that. So if I had 3 plates on a machine per side, and I increased with half a plate, then I would go to 2.5 plates. I do 12 reps with 3 plates, and then 12 reps with 2.5 plates, as an example. And sometimes later towards in the set, you really start to fatigue a little bit. You go from 3 plates to 2 plates, or maybe even 1.5 plates. Sometimes you really go for it, but you still want to do a back off set, and you kind of estimate like, man, it was pretty fucking heavy. I kind of gassed out. I think I need to do half the weight instead of 75% of the weight. But that is training experience. Lots of T4 questions today. Is it smart to take just T4 if you don't know how much you're converting to reverse T3 compared to T3? Yes. Yeah, I think everybody should start with T4 if it's warranted or you use higher dosages of growth hormone. But again, blood work will tell you, man. Because plenty of guys don't need T4 on growth hormone. Plenty of guys don't need T4. They just need selenium and iodine. Abner Kravitz, after the first use from a bottle of bacteriostatic water, how long will it be good for? Do you have to refrigerate it after first use? I think they say 30 days, but I've used them for months and it would still work because there's no peptides in there to denature. So I think it's fine to use until it's finished. But I have ampules, so I don't use vials. I use ampules for bacteriostatic water, so that's just single use. Or 1 milliliter, and then you go through that vial, and then you reconstitute a new one. What did Hospira say? Hospira, does it still exist? Spira. Oh. Day. Oh, it doesn't say. Discards, no. Week. Oh, it doesn't say it in the insert. Multi-dose vial. Doesn't say anything about how long. Doesn't say it. I know when I first used those Hospira from Pfizer bacteriostatic water 30 milliliter vials, I would just use it until it was finished, and it sometimes took months. And then after reconstitution, it would just work as expected. Insert injection kit. Don't say anything about discarding it after X amount of days. Intrigued now. Oh, man, so many annoying. No, don't see anything about discarding it after X amount of days in the medical inserts. So I guess it's unlimited. No, but I don't know, if you notice that anything is wrong or you get post injection pain, then I would just open up a new one. All right, I think, Biscup, I think you've posted enough. So I'm going to skip over your questions now because it's a lot. Let's leave some answers for other people. Do you agree on this? If you have hypogonadism from pituitary deficiency, Clomid will have zero effects. Pituitary deficiency. So you mean low levels of LH and FSH? I mean, it could be because your estrogen levels are high, and then Clomid would block the estrogen receptors, and thus luteinizing hormone and follicle stimulating hormone levels would go up. But I mean, you're gonna have to tell me a little bit more than this for me to draw a conclusion. Coached by Roland, I mean, Boldenone cypionate, you once said, over 3 IU's growth hormone per day has no more muscle building effects. What? I think it was alive, can't find it. Is it true? I'm into Boldenone cypionate. I lost the entire context of what you're trying to ask. So I'll look for your question to formulate it a little bit better so I can answer it. But this guy's blocked. But I have no idea what you mean, buddy. Uh, let's start answering some questions. How many milligrams in days may need to load Anadrol in peak week if you need it? Well, you have to do a trial run when you're, let's say, 4 weeks out or 3 weeks out, when you're sufficiently lean to see how many days it takes for you to start holding water. So maybe you have your refeed on Saturday and then you wait 2 or 3 days for you to kind of clean out. And then as you're depleting into the next refeed, you're adding in the Anadrol, and then maybe you do 200 milligrams per day or 300 milligrams. Highly depends on your size. Let's say 1 pound per, or 1 milligram per 1 pound of body weight as just an arbitrary number. So if you're 300 pounds, 300 milligrams Anadrol, and if you're 200 pounds, 200 milligrams of Anadrol per day. Just as a general guideline, right? You start loading that, and then you list how many days it takes for you to start getting blurry lines in your glutes. I mean, at 3 to 4 weeks out, you should have lines in your glutes, maybe not all the way etched in, but they should be in to a certain extent. So when you start to hold water in your lower back, glutes, abs, little details in your chest is starting to disappear, then you know that that is the day where you shouldn't be loading it. And then if you want to play it safe, you cut off 1 day. So if it took 4 days, 5 days for the water to show up, then you will load for 2 days or 3 days at maximum. Right? So maybe try 200 milligrams per day for 5 days and see when you start to hold water. If you start holding water on the 5th day, you load it for 3 days just to play it safe. Right? Because why show up watery as fuck when the extra fullness is not that dramatic from 3 days onward? And if you don't want to fuck with that, that's what the super draw is for. Nut Panu, thoughts on 250 milligrams testosterone anthate, 250 milligrams Primo, 200 Mast, and Winnie 40 milligrams. Well, it sounds something very similar to what I might end up with for the Mr. Olympia. So it's totally fine, man. All these questions like, what do you think about this cycle? If it works for you, it works for you. I don't fucking care. And it sounds logical to me because I think you don't need an aromatase inhibitor. I think the ratio of test to Primo is great, and the masteron dose is low enough, but sufficient enough for you to get cosmetic effects. And if you're running 40 milligrams of Winstrol per day from oral sources, I'm assuming, then you should look pretty fucking dicey, assuming that your body fat levels are below 8%. So go for it. I hope you have some lipid management in place, because your lipids will be horrendous. What factors, including fringe benefits like beta-3 receptor agonism or improved insulin sensitivity, would you consider when choosing blood pressure meds? I would not consider those factors, because if you need the blood pressure medication, you should use them for blood pressure management, and the other fringe benefits are just fringe benefits. Take them, take them as a positive effect, but you don't take blood pressure medication for fringe benefits. I'm going to take telmisartan for PPR receptor agonism, and thus I get fat loss. No, you stupid fuck. You take telmisartan for blood pressure management if you need it. You take nebivolol for blood pressure management, not for fat loss through the beta-3 adrenergic receptor, because it's minuscule. And just because it says so on paper doesn't mean you're going to experience any of those effects in real life. They're blood pressure medications, not fat loss aids. If you want to use a fat loss aid, use Mirabegron. If you want to use a fat loss aid, use Cardarine, right? Or both with the blood pressure medications. And you'll see that after adding in the Mirabegron and the Cardarine to your telmisartan and the nebivolol stack, that the fat loss suddenly starts. Actually starts. Matt G, using doctor prescribed 200 milligrams testosterone per week, I'm assuming, can I blast for 20 weeks, adding 200 milligrams more test or 100-ish of Primo? That's not a blast. It's just TRT plus. Chill the fuck out. 25 milligrams Anavar prescribed with a workout 3 to 4 times a week. So that's another 100 milligrams Anavar. So you want to add, want to go from 200 tests to 400 tests, 100 Primo, and 100 Anavar. So that's 600 milligrams per total. That's a little bit more than TRT plus, but I wouldn't excel it. A blast is over a gram. This is just a moderate cycle. So, yeah, go for it. Go for it. put your ancillaries in place, your Tatka for liver health, your ezetimibe for lipid management, citrus bergamot for lipid management, fish oil for lipid management. And I don't think you need blood pressure medication, but you might need an aromatase inhibitor because from 200 tests to 400 tests, 100 milligrams Primo is not going to keep your estradiol levels in range unless you're 8% body fat or you're low aromatizer. So you might need an AI at 12.5 milligrams 3 times a week, but do blood work to confirm that. I will never understand why people add other AAS for estrogen management when they should have that dialed in prior to use. Yeah, but it's I mean, like the estrogen management of steroid is just a warm beneficial effect, and it allows you to remove an aromatase inhibitor. So if you go from 500 tests plus 25 milligrams aromasin twice a week, as an example, to 500 tests and 500 Primo, then obviously you can replace the AI with Primo. You'd get similar estrogen management, I would assume. And then you get twice as anabolic, give or take. So, right? Of course, your estrogen should be in range, but adding in particular steroids like Boldenone, Mastrone, or Primobolan, or Proviron for that matter, allows you to take the aromatase inhibition practices out. And then again, most people have a lot to learn when it comes to steroids. Mastrone is causing cramping during runs despite taking extra electrolytes like pregnenolone and pregnenolone DHEA. Can I do anything? Just drop the Mastrone. Taurine helps with electrolyte balance. What is it called? Quinine from tonic water prevents cramps by helping with electrolyte balance. And maybe you're just not supplementing with enough electrolytes during the runs. So, but it could be that, I mean, Mastrone just makes you excrete electrolytes like none other, like Mastrone and Turinabol, or at least with Turinabol in scientific evidence, it shows that that's an aldosterone synthase inhibitor, and thus it makes you cramp. So just take more electrolytes. It's that simple, People, take a boatload of sodium, bro, and then you measure their sodium, and it's like 2 grams a day. It's not a lot. 7 grams of sodium is a lot. I take about 5 grams, 6 grams of sodium per day, and otherwise throw in a boatload of growth hormone, and that will make you retain sodium and prevent cramps as well. So there's always a way, but then again, you're taking a Mastrone probably to look dicey, and growth hormone will prevent you from looking dicey because now you're retaining a lot of water. I mean, look at me. I was fucking lean, and I'm fat, but it's just sodium. Are you watching any of the Olympics? Watching the debacle unfold? No, but not. I'm not really watching it. I don't. There's not any sports that I find interesting. So I think after the Olympics, I'll just watch like some 45 minutes highlight reel, and then see which records were broken. But I don't know. I think the Olympics are just a fucking joke at this point. I mean, look at that opening ceremony. I mean, it's a fucking travesty, dude. I feel bad for the taxpayers in France that are paying for that shit. But they wouldn't get a second out of me besides a highlight reel when it's all said and done. I think it's a joke. Hey, Steve, blood work on 750 milligrams test per week, total 6,300 nanograms per deciliter. Holy moly. Free is 200, so that's also very high. Bioavailable high. SHBG is still nice in range. Isn't free testosterone low in this case? Is it possible to increase it? You can add in the Proviron or go to daily injections instead of 250 milligrams that you're injecting 3 times a week now, I'm assuming, right? That's the most convenient way. Add in a little bit of growth hormone, daily micro administrations, and if that doesn't, or well, it's not micro if you inject 125 milligrams of testosterone per day. Otherwise, 25 milligrams per viron to bring your SHBG down. I mean, I don't think that bring your SHBG down to 20 or 15 and increasing your free testosterone is going to do anything for your anabolism. Zero. It's not going to change anything. Might it improve your libido? Maybe. But then again, at a free testosterone like this and then testosterone load and your estrogen is probably also pretty high, unless you're using an aromatase inhibitor, I don't think it's going to change anything besides ruin your lipids. So, yeah, but you need free testosterone. Well, your free testosterone is already many times out of the reference range. I mean, how much free testosterone do you really need? If you want crazy libido, add in some Action Tren. How should I take telmisartan best dose and time? Well, first you need to check your blood pressure. And then look for every method in the book to manage your blood pressure without adding in the telmisartan. Daily fasted cardio, box breathing, magnesium, proper electrolyte intake, not eating so much processed foods, consistent water intake, following the lifestyle. And then you start with 20 milligrams telmisartan if that doesn't bring your CPAP machine, right? Undiagnosed sleep apnea, sleep studies, all that kind of stuff. You do everything in the book to improve your blood pressure. And if that still doesn't get it done, then you start with 20 milligrams telmisartan, and you can increase that to 40 milligrams or 80 milligrams with small increments based on your blood pressure over the course of a week. So slow and steady. Keep track of your serum potassium levels because those might increase. Next project will have my estrogen management protocol. You'll get the first copy as I respect your opinion. All right, send it over. I'll have a look. But still, man, just make videos about it. It's better than ebooks. Nobody reads ebooks. Oh, they do, but most people prefer videos. Which compounds would be the best for body recomposition regimen while overweight and trying to get back into the gym and in shape? Nothing. Nothing, dude. If you're overweight, then you need to get your weight under control before you add anything in. So earn it. Get into the gym, get back in shape, and when in shapeness stalls, then you can look into the compounds. But you'll get fat loss anyway at the beginning when you're fat as fuck. When you're overweight, you'll get fat loss from anything you do. All you need to do is get into the gym, follow the lifestyle, and you'll lose fat. When fat loss stops and you've looked into all other options, right? You can't do any more cardio because it's making you sore, or you simply don't have more time. You already change your training modalities for the maximum training output and the best recovery for the limited calories that you're eating. And you lowered your calories to the point you don't want to lower it any further because you're afraid it's going to ruin your metabolic rate. Then look into TRT. And then when you stall on TRT, you can increase the dose. And when you stall on increasing the dose and your lipids take a turn for worse, then you can look into fat burning aids from 12% body fat onwards. But you don't start doing the shit from the beginning, man. Fuck. What I added in Mirabegron from what was it, 8% body fat onwards? Just put in the work, man. Am I blocked? No. Not yet. Not yet, but don't tempt me. Eris, thanks, man. Always a wealth of knowledge. Just to follow up, how would you dose the Mirabegron? Is it better with metformin? I couldn't remember anything reading in the scientific evidence that metformin plus Mirabegron is better, but it's probably not been studied or I overlooked it. But I think metformin is a terrible drug for recovery, so I would avoid it unless you had a boatload of cheat food. And then you need to improve insulin sensitivity for the next day by slowing your digestion. I would start with 50 milligrams Mirabegron in the morning, and then maybe a second serving of 50 milligrams before the workout later in the day. The clinical dose goes up to 200 milligrams, and that's usually where the side effect starts to manifest. So again, you add in the Mirabegron when you've already been dieting for a long time. You feel that you're stuck a little bit, and then you add it in. And then later on, maybe you need to reduce your calories again, Is it better with metformin? No, I think metformin you should just avoid during a fat loss phase because it makes you flat as fuck. And then you don't get a pump, and then you lose motivation, and you're like, oh, why am I so flat? And then you actually look fatter because there's less of the muscle pushing against the fat, and now you hold water, and then you're like, oh, I gotta eat. But you take a boatload of metformin, so it doesn't digest well, and then you get into this roller coaster of misery. Just stay the course. Stay the course. Man, I'm watery as fuck right now. Do you see me panicking? No, I just remove the pickles, and a while later, you'll get the results again. You know, people panic, and then they make all these small arbitrary changes. I have a video on this. I can't remember what it's called. What was it called? It's a very old video. That's okay. Aaron Grid says, "No, you're a good coach by Roland." For now. For now. Steve, are you still friends with Dan the Bodybuilder in Thailand? Man, I haven't talked to him or seen him in years before COVID. We had a little bit of a disagreement over COVID back in the day, and I haven't talked to him since. So a lot of people had a lot of disagreements about COVID. So I have no idea where he is. I haven't seen any videos from him, but I hope he's doing well, man. Hope he's doing well, little Dan Balone. Let me answer some fun questions. Damien, yo, Steve, blood pressure 115/54. Man, that's fucking low. Would you be concerned about a diastolic being kind of low? Well, it's actually pretty fucking low. If I don't feel anything out of the ordinary. On a bulk, 150 tests, 180 Mastron, 200 Primo, clean diet, 30 minutes fasted cardio every day. Man, that low on cycle? You might want to increase your sodium intake, because it sounds like your blood volume is just very, very low. So I'm not sure if you're using a diuretic or that your hematocrit is really low, or you're, really doing box breathing before you are checking your blood pressure and your resting heart rate. But sounds very, very low. I would add in some sodium to your diet just to increase blood volume and take it from there. Because maybe the Mastron is promoting too much electrolyte excretion. And if your diet is clean, but you're not adding any extra sodium, then maybe over time your blood pressure will be low, but you'll be cramping before, if that was really an issue. Turbo Jimbro, can I get the same hardness as Mastron from just lowering E2? No. No, because you add Mastron on top of whatever you're taking, which means more androgens in your system. And lowering E2 does not give you any hardness, but it gives you less water retention. So you can see the muscle better. When you drop the video with Wesley. So I'm still waiting for Wesley's editor to finish their training video. They were a little bit backed up. They release about one video a week on Sunday. They did not. Oh, let me check. If anybody send me a message. Let's see. No messages. So there will be no video tomorrow. So maybe the week after. I mean, they're backed up with content, and they increased the production value. He has one editor, so he works on that for a week. And my podcast is done, though. My podcast is done. Let's see. It is ready. It is titled The Arnold Classic 2024 Winner, Wesley Visser's Mr. Olympia Game Plan. How will he win the title? I had it done since July 27th. So, editor of Wesley, I've been ready since last week's 2 Saturdays ago. Oh, no, this is the third, right? Last Saturday. So, I don't know, give it another week. We'll drop the training video and the podcast on the same day. When is the hair coming back? Never, dude. Never. Fuck hair. You. And I ride motorbike. I go to the gym 4 times a week. I ride motorbike maybe six days a week. So Wednesday I usually don't go out, but the other days I usually go out. And I wear a helmet, right? I'm not stupid. I wear a helmet, and the worst thing is styling your hair, putting the helmet on, and then walking around with unstyled hair. Or sweaty, and it's all sinking and stuff. So No, man, I'm done. I'm done with the hair. I trim it 3 times a week. It will never come back. Unless my kids ask me to grow it for whatever purpose, then I would. My wife doesn't give a shit. She loves this, and I love it when she rubs my skull, hands, or other body parts. If you know, you know. And but if my kids, my future kids, ever ask me to grow my hair because they feel intimidated by Steve when he comes to pick him up from school, yeah. So we're maybe 5 years, 6 years. You bet your fucking balls that I can have a full head of hair in 2 months. 2 months. How much do you think you could lift in squat, bench, and deadlift if you trained them for a few weeks? Not much, man. I tried last year before the Mr. Olympia. I tried to bring my squat back. I could only fucking squat 3 plates. Bench 2.5. Deadlift, I can probably get up to 5 or 6 plates if I really wanted to. But just the fatigue, man, from deadlifts. Like squats, I can still recover from, but deadlifts, stiff legged deadlifts, I do 6 plates, but that's the 25 pound plates, not real plates, the half plates. So those I still did for about 8 reps, but I prefer 5 plates or 4.5 plates for 12 reps because the 6 plates for 8, oh man, I'm fucked, dude. I'm fucked. I mean, I'm getting old. I'm starting to notice it now that I just, like, I took 50 milligrams modafinil last Monday, and all I got was a headache all day. I had to take the melatonin out. I was running melatonin after the Trembolone experiment, 10 milligrams per day, just to clear some of the amyloid plaque. I was running melatonin during it and then after it, and then it's part of your routine. I forgot to take it out. And then the last 2 weeks, I'm like, man, why am I feeling so tired? Why am I feeling so unmotivated? And then I go through my notes and logs, and then I remembered the melatonin no bueno video where I was running 30 milligrams melatonin, and I felt the exact same way. I'm like, fuck, man. Well, a couple years ago, 30 milligrams melatonin was too much, and now it's 10 milligrams melatonin. I'm just not recovering as I should. My body is not working like it used to. I'm not indestructible anymore. So squat, bench, deadlift. If you really want me to not make any videos and just sit on my ass recovering, then yeah, ask me to do that. But no, man, free weights, dumbbells, machines, high reps, 1 rep in reserve. That is the way to go. Nice time under tension, though. Yeah. Is it normal to get brain fog from high estrogen? Could be. Could be that your neurotransmitters are a little bit off. But if you feel that estrogen is the cause, then why don't you bring it down with a million methods we've described on this YouTube channel? What is up with Duchette attacking so many bodybuilders lately? Shitting on Duchette was my favorite part of last week's Q&A. I don't know, man. I don't follow Duchette. I mean, they called him a pedo, which is going a little bit overboard. I mean, the Trent twins are adult men, so you can't really call them a pedo, even though he was focusing on their shorts a bit much. But it's just Doucette, man. It's just Doucette. That's his style. So he just likes to attack people, eh? Call him out, and then when he gets called out, he gets super defensive. So I don't understand why people are watching that kind of content. I mean, it's garbage content. It's trash garbage content. There's nothing to learn. Entertaining maybe for some people, but I'm not those kind of people. Like, if I want to be entertained, I'll watch something else. I'd rather watch something like Deadpool. That was entertaining. So and that was positive too. Too many gay jokes. There was a little bit too much gay innuendo for my liking. But hey, that's Marvel. That's Disney. Right? It got to be all inclusive. So a couple sexual gay jokes to make the straight people feel uncomfortable. All right, and you can't say anything about that because then you're just a hating straight guy. And if you're white, then it's even worse. Then you're a privileged straight white guy hating. Can't have that, man. Oh man, can't be the majority anymore. I'll get canceled for that comment, 100%. So, but yeah, I consider that entertainment. So I don't understand why people would want to watch do shit at all. But hey, he's got 2 million followers, so I'm in the minority here. People still want to watch that shit. People still want to watch drama. Drama sells. Um, but the weird thing is, like, all the people that I know and hang out with and that I highly respect, they don't watch that kind of content either. Right? All the entrepreneurs, all the PhD educators, all the people that I highly respect that actually did something with their life that's respectable, they don't watch that kind of content. So what is the audience that is actually watching that? I wouldn't know, man. I think the combined IQ of Duchette's audience is about the same as the combined IQ of my audience. Well, you guys would be able to do the math. And I've never met anybody who watched Duchette. I met so many people. Like when I went to Dubai, I meet people. When I'm here in the gym, they'll say, I love this and I love this guy and I watch that guy. And it's mostly the people that I interact with also, right? I watch Kurt's stuff and I watch Paul's stuff and Chase's stuff. And when Dean posts something on Instagram, I watch it. And, so I guess we're just in the minority here. And I cannot fathom why anybody would want to watch content like Duchette or John Bravo. I mean, it's gone downhill in my opinion. Or Nick Trigili, or what is the other guy called? Goop. Right? I don't watch that shit. It's just all negativity. I can't deal with it, man. I don't watch the news either. It's just all drama. I focus on enhancing my life and watching that kind of content. It just detracts from your intelligence and your overall quality of life. So if you want to watch that and make yourself dumber, go right ahead. But the gap between that audience and myself will just keep rising to the point I wouldn't even know how to interact. Do you think 6-day Arnold split is underrated versus 6-day push-pull leg? And if I find I can't go as hard on my delts and arms on the same day as chest and back. Yeah, the Arnold split is a little bit too much volume. So I used to do that also. But I would do a 6-day split push-pull leg. It seems to be a little bit more intelligently designed. What bike do we have? I have a Yamaha NMAX 155, and soon I will buy a BMW. What is it called? GT 400, which is also a maxi scooter, or C 400 GT. And then I will DAC that out. And actually, they have very nice bikes at BMW, which I'd rather buy. And even though they're like $50,000, $60,000, the reason why I don't want to buy those bikes is because they're big. You can't go in between traffic. So I think the C400 GT of BMW is still small enough to go in between the cars. It's dangerous as fuck, obviously, but hey, this is life in Thailand, man. If you know, you know. And then the Yamaha NMAX 155 that I have. I have a picture of that. Of course, it will be blurry, but let me scroll all the way down. Here, this is my mobile of death. There, yeah, that's okay. Anyway, it's somewhere on my Instagram. So it's black, completely decked out with gold. Got to do something with your Bitcoin money. I think the bike is like $2,000, and then I put another $1,000 of modifications on it, quote unquote modifications, not real modifications. And a BMW, I think I'm gonna wrap certain parts of it if I can find a nice wrapper here in Thailand, because I looked for that a little bit, and they all had these little air bubbles. So I'm like, never mind. Yeah, so I would love to buy a bike that's actually a real bike, with gears and stuff. But living in Asia, it's just everything is narrow, and people cut you off. So I'd rather have a bike that's a little bit lighter, that's more maneuverable, that I can go in between cars, because it's believe it or not, that's safer than driving a big proper bike. That will, it's just too heavy to drive. All right, where are we? Rick PR. I'm currently taking Mastersol 2.5 milligrams weekly. Would it be better to switch to Romasin instead? If so, what would be the conversion? Any benefits to taking AIs daily versus Monday, Wednesday, Friday for more stable levels. Yeah, some people respond better to that, to taking them daily, whether that's Aromasin or anastrozole or Arimidex. So if you take 2.5 milligrams Aromasin or Arimidex weekly, I would take 20, 50, 12 and a half, 62. So basically 2.5 tablets. So one tablet of Arimidex of 1 milligram usually gives you about the same aromatase inhibition and the same estrogen levels as one tablet of Aromasin at 25 milligrams. 1 milligram Arimidex equals 25 milligrams Aromasin. So in this case, if you're taking 2.5 tablets of Arimidex, you're taking 2.5 tablets of Aromasin. And in this case, you can microdose that half tablets, 5 servings, Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. And Wednesday and Sunday you rest. So basically on training days, right? As an example. Steve, if you had to move to the US, where would you live? Las Vegas, baby. Yeah. Yeah, I would like Las Vegas. You know what? After I went to Dubai, or after I went to Bali and Las Vegas, I think Dubai is off the menu for me. Yeah, I like Bali and Las Vegas more than Dubai. I mean, Dubai is not bad, but now that I've traveled more, I went to Dubai a couple years ago. We went 3 times because we loved it so much, and then we went to Bali, and we went to Japan a couple times, and we went to Las Vegas. Personally, I would not consider moving to Dubai anymore. It's just no, it's just one big mall. You can't go outside. There's no nature, and the good thing about Las Vegas is that, nature is very close by. You're right in the mountains. You can do those hiking trails. People are super friendly. That I would say more friendly than in Dubai. In Dubai, everybody seemed to be very bored, at least the last time I was there. People at Bino's Gym were very, very great. Very friendly people, even though the Tremboloni sandwich is being abused heavily over there. Fuck, man, so many guys in Tren just being all moody and shit. I don't know. I don't want that around me. So, but in Las Vegas, everybody has a fucking good time, dude. Even though a lot of people are intoxicated, obviously, because it's a party town. But then again, it's the same in Bangkok. So, Bangkok, Las Vegas, that's my top 2. Or Kyoto. I like Kyoto in Japan. Very nice, laid back, beautiful nature, nice people, very livable. So I gotta move Kyoto up over Dubai as the 3rd best place to live for me. Uh, Mr. Super Chat from Roland. Where? Did I? This one I missed. Which compounds would be best for body recomposition regimen while overweight and trying to get? Oh no, I answered this one already. Roland, I don't see a super chat of you. What are you talking about? Oh, here it is. No, this one I answered. But you didn't specify. So did you specify later on what you actually meant? I hate fucking going back and forth through the chat, man. I wish some of you guys would just fucking ask the questions properly, and then I can answer it and move on. In my second super chat, I meant to say I heard Steve in an older life say that there's no more muscle building over 3 years growth hormone per day. I just want to know. I can't remember the context, but if it's solo 3 IU's growth hormone per day, then you're not going to get much muscle building. But if you increase the steroids alongside your growth hormone, there's synergy, right? Growth hormone by itself is not going to build so much muscle. Otherwise, all those HIV patients would be fucking sauced to the gills running 18 IU's per day, right? But if you run 18 IU's with growth or with steroids at, let's say, 2 grams, 3 grams, you'll get significantly more muscle than 3 grams of steroids by themselves. So You have to look into the synergy. This is why I designed 250 milligrams of steroids per week for every 1 IU of growth hormone that you take per day. That seems to be a nice match for most people, right? Realistically, right now on 150 tests, 150 plus 125 plus 70 milligrams, on 345 milligrams of steroids per week, I should be running about 2 to 3 IUs growth hormone, but I'm running 10, 3 times the amount. So I don't expect so much muscle growth of the 7 extra growth hormone that I'm running because the steroids are not there to facilitate that. I would need to run, let's see, 250 times 10, 2 grams, 2.5 grams. So if I go to 1 ampule of testosterone per day, then yes, I would be blowing up significantly. And if I take the growth hormone out, then I would not grow as fast. So there's synergy between a certain amount of growth hormone and a certain amount of steroids. But if you run 3 IUs of growth hormone per day, then you probably don't get much muscle building effect. And even if you were to combine it with TRT, there's not too much muscle building effect because your steroid dose is low. So I hope that clarifies it. Right, you have to look into the context when I answer these questions. Don't take it as a black and white because I answer questions the best way I see on the question that's presented. So if it seems conflicting sometimes or it doesn't make sense, you have to understand that I'm answering a question in a particular context that might not apply to your context. All right, let's scroll down a little bit. Get the BMW 1000 Superbike. Yeah, fuck, man, I love that thing, but it's too much. It's too much. Too beaucoup. What's a good starting point for aromasin on 250? 250 milligrams testosterone per week, 500 IOs HCG 3 times a week, 12.5 milligrams per gallon per day, 10 milligrams DHA per day. I want to go higher, but DHA, but it decreases my libido. Do your blood work. I mean, you know this answer was coming. Do your blood work first because everybody aromatizes differently, dude. I don't know your body fat levels. I don't know if you're taking zinc or nicotine or Cialis or anything that can lower your estrogen levels. Do your blood work. Do your blood work, please. And then let us know where your levels are. And then we can recommend you an aromasin dose. But if you want a cookie cutter answer, 1 tablet of aromasin for every 250 milligrams testosterone that you take. So 25 milligrams aromasin for 250 milligrams testosterone. In your case, I would take 12.5 milligram aromasin Monday, Friday, plus an extra serving of 12.5 milligram aromasin for the 500 IOs HCG that you're injecting 3 times per week. So in this case, 250 tests and 500 IOs HCG 3 times a week, aromasin Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 12.5 milligrams per serving. If that crushes your estrogen, that's your fucking fault because you didn't present us the blood work. And if it's not enough, then it's also your fucking fault because you didn't present us the blood work. Will we ever see another Biobros episode? I don't think so. I don't think so. The Derek is having a hard time getting back in the YouTube game. It's, just doing podcasts. So if he wants to do one, I'm not going to say no, but I'm not going to ask. I've asked many a times, hey, you want to do a Biobros? You want to do a Biobros? I'm busy. So I stopped asking. We have the Anabolic Roundtable right now, and it might not be as diverse as the Biobros, but, Leo has passed, and Leo had a little bit of a weird moment at the end there. So we didn't see eye to eye, and I don't think Derek was very appreciative of what was said by Leo. So Biobros basically ended. And then we had one episode with Alec Matrevsky, which we held on to for several months because as soon as we released it, Leo passed away here in Thailand. So and we haven't recorded an episode since. I've asked many times, but I guess the interest is not there. So this is why I started another podcast, the Anabolic Roundtable, with two other guys that I had a respect for their intelligence, Dr. Dean St. Mart and Kurt Havens. And we have a different dynamic, but the dynamic is getting better every week or every month. And instead of doing them occasionally, I'm just going to schedule them every month. So you guys will have 12 episodes in a year. Like Freeman, lived in Thailand for 3 months, lived in Dubai for over a year, Thailand all day, every day. Yeah, you can just, you have more freedom here. It's more laid back. I think Dubai is a little bit, I don't know what it is. It seems so artificial. People were nice though. The people that I met in the fitness industry that recognized me, they were super cool. But it just seems like everybody else just so busy with consumerism. Right, and they all seem bored walking around the fucking Dubai mall with their fucking Dior and Gucci and Prada, whatever. They're like, oh, I hate my life. Fucking decked out in like $100,000 worth of stuff. I mean, it's yeah. I kind of feel bad for those people. Nobody seemed to enjoy themselves there, man. I don't know why. They all seem bored and frustrated and angry. I don't know what it is. But so why would I surround myself with that? Even in Bino's gym, the people are just moody. I'm like, fuck. What's I like to be around happy people. Bangkok, Las Vegas. Dude, the first time I came to Las Vegas, it was at a rodeo, right? So everybody was dressed up in their rodeo cowboy outfit. I thought it was hilarious. I thought, is this Las Vegas where all the Americans come and dress up like cowboys and just have a fucking blast? Oh, man. Take a picture of my wife. You got like five cowboys photo bombing her, throwing up front double biceps and holding their pistols. That's what I fucking love. I want the craziness and the hilariousness and just random people just having a good time and having a laugh. Just like I do, man. Yeah, if I can't have that. The same as in Thailand, man. You give a laugh for everybody. It's fucking crack jokes in the mall with fucking random people. That's what I want in my life. And if I can't have that, then I'm not going there and spending my money. If I could, I would live in a countryside. Man, city is bustling. Honestly, that's another thing about Europe. If you live in the capital, everything is walking distance. It's so good. Yeah, yeah, it's good, man. It just sucks when it's winter. Like I was in Leiden, one of the small cities in Holland for the wedding, and that's a beautiful city in summer, man. Everybody's outside having fun, in the little canals. It's no shirts, just drinking beer, playing some music, having a laugh. And then you're staring at them, and you see that they're staring. They're like, "Hey, what's up?" And you're like, "Yeah, it's summer, bitch. Enjoy." So that's what I like when people are a little bit more laid back. I mean, the world is serious enough as it is, but if you come to a point where you just mopey all the time and everybody around you is mopey, then I don't know, hate it. Yeah, dude, the Bar Bros era was very special. I think it's still one of the best podcasts that's ever been produced, but it just, when there's friction, you can't continue. And I mean, if you watch some of those Bar Bros episodes, you can also see some friction. Some of the episodes. So it's, uh, it is what it is. Hey, Steve, can I ask you an honest question? Yeah, shoot, man. I don't see it though. We're coming at the end of the podcast, no more super chat, so now we get to the fun stuff. Where did you eat the best food in the USA? Uh, Chicago with Chase Irons, and I fuck every time I fucking forget this restaurant's name. Man, do I have a post of this? Dude, he took me to a restaurant that he booked like a month in advance, and it was honestly still the best meal that I had. And I felt bad that I didn't bring my wife there. Let me scroll in the meantime. That was like the funny thing is about like me, Chase Aarons, and Paul Burnett. We all like fine dining. It's just so hilarious because we're like meatheads, right? We're big bodybuilders, and you show up, you dress up a little bit, you do this fine dining, you just plow through all the food that they present. So I know uh, Paul Burnett had like a 17-course meal in New Mexico, and I know that Chase Irons did some fine dining when he was in LA doing the podcast rounds, and I fucking love that shit, man. I think it's hilarious. Okay, this was China. I should have a picture. Oh man, I didn't post a picture. I'm a terrible friend. Anyway, Chase Irons took me to a place in Chicago where I had a hamburger that was the top three of my life. That's the top three hamburger that I had in my entire life. Yes, I like hamburgers. Don't judge. Um, no, why don't I have a picture of that? And I'm cheap, so I don't have the iPhone that's like fully maxed out with storage. So every time I have a holiday, I clear all the pictures. I back them up. Um, anyway, I was in Chicago somewhere. A very nice place, and that was great food. And then we ate in Las Vegas, but I mostly ate at the diners. I know I'm kind of stupid that way. I went to Denny's a lot. I went to what's it called? Hash House a Go Go, Peppermill, Cheesecake Factory, that kind of shit. It's not the best food, but I don't know, it's just like a wholesome food. A lot of meat, of course, depending on what you order. So I went to the hamburger place from Gordon Ramsay, Gordon Ramsay Burger. That was great. And but I think the best place that I ate was with Chase Iron. So next time I go to the US, I just let the locals decide because I clearly can't decide what is nice. Even though I had great food in Dubai, Meat and Co. and Atmosphere and Karam and Zuzu and I don't know, a lot of great restaurants in Dubai Mall area that I ate. All right, let's move on. Do you think somebody could live good with only $5,000 per month in Thailand? Good? Dude, you can live like a fucking god. What are you talking about? $5,000 US dollars to Thai baht. $5,000. That's 180,000 baht. Yeah, man. You can live very, very comfortably. Absolutely. You could have like three girlfriends if you want and support all of them financially. Because they probably also got three other sponsors. So you kind of have to share, but if you're there permanently and you don't see them for a month, they're probably with their part-time boyfriend that's coming from the UK or from America that is having to spend some time with them and blowing through his cash. And then when he's gone, she'll make a reappearance. And then you can, pay for dinners here and there and maybe sit yourself back 15,000 baht a month for, a part-time nookie action. So $5,000 per month in Thailand will give you a very, very, very good life. You can rent a nice condo for $1,000. Then you have 4,000 left. Let's say you spend $500 on your cycle. Let's say you spend $500 on food. Then you have $3,000 left. Let's say you spend $1,000 a month on eating out and drinking and having fun. Then you have $2,000 left. You put that into Bitcoin, and then after a year of doing that, you can probably live a much better life at $10,000 a month. So you don't need much in Thailand, man. Yeah, but if you want, I spend about 5,000 a month. Yeah, on myself. But I have a house, with bills, and I have cats with bills, and I do NAD plus treatment. It's expensive, and I'm a snob. So, when I smoke cigars, they're expensive too. So when you first come to Thailand, don't live like me. I didn't live like I live now. When I first came to Thailand, you could do it easily on $2,000. $3,000 is great, and $5,000 you can live like a fucking king and have many girlfriends, one for every day of the week. Again, they'll all give you a headache. If you find a good girlfriend, you only need one. But if you want 5, 6, 7 girlfriends, yeah, all of them will give you a small amount of headache. But hey, that's the way it goes. Are you going to check out any buffets in Las Vegas like Bachanel? No. So I hate to say it, but the buffets in Vegas do not come close to the hotel buffets here in Thailand. Hotels buffet here in Thailand, it's fucking legendary. High quality food, stations out of your ass. You're like, I ate everything. And then you walk around the corner and then you have another area with food. And they're cheaper. So you spend maybe $60. I usually have discount cards everywhere, right? So for the JW Marriott, we have a discount card and everything. All the hotels that attach to the JW, what is it called? St. Regis is there, and so I usually get like 30% discount. So the taxes that I put on, so let's say it's like $70 net, then I pay like $50, for example. And then the hotel, the buffets in Vegas are like $100. And you know what's funny? What's his name? He has a channel about Jacob's life in Vegas. He just made a video about why Vegas buffets suck now. Where is that? Subscriptions. Let's see. Let's see if we can find his channel. Too many subscriptions. Yeah. Why you should avoid Las Vegas buffets. I'll link it down below. So he was just saying that the quality is just going down and down and down and down, that it's not really worth it because many of the Las Vegas buffets, they charge like $100. So if I can have better selection here in Thailand for half the price, then why would I do a Las Vegas buffet? It's the same with sushi, man. The sushi here in Thailand is absolutely phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal. You know, for $100 for two people, man, you have the best fucking sushi ever. I had it as soon as I came back from holiday because the sushi in Holland is absolutely terrible. I ate that with my sister. It was, you know, I mean, look at that. Fuck, it doesn't focus, right? Man, absolutely stellar. Here, Wagyu sushi, $10, $2 per roll, or $2 per piece. I mean, you can't get that anywhere, man. This is so no great food in Thailand. So that's why I went to the diners and some of the places like Brazilian steakhouses. They don't have in Thailand, so you go do that, or they have some, but they're terrible. So I did that in Vegas. Yeah, yeah. I took some Xenical. Man, I can't believe how much oil I shit out the next day. Is 2 weeks long enough for labs after switching esters? I would wait 4 weeks. I would wait 4 weeks. Should eat Korean barbecue or American barbecue while you're in the US? Yeah, I love Korean barbecue, man. Oh man, we have a street in Thailand, Sukhumvit Soy 9, 10, 11, where they have like all these Korean restaurants, and I go there once in a while, and man, that's some of the best foods, dude. Oh man. Barry's Prime Steakhouse in Vegas, 10 out of 10. It's on Fremont Street. All right. I will definitely have a look. I love steak. Who doesn't? Well, vegans, but I'm assuming there's no vegans here. All right, I'll have that. Have a look. Steakhouse. I'll definitely go past Fremont Street because I'll go with Aaron and he loves Fremont Street. So we'll go watch the freak show and eat some steaks. Barry's Prime. I want to go to Bazaar Meat, but I heard that they have like a 17 course meat tasting affair, but I heard that Bazaar Meat is going to close. Oh, that was the rumor. They have like a 17 course in Sahara. Well, otherwise, I don't mind eating steak every day. When I go on holiday, I eat at least dinner. I go out. Got to check out 888 Japanese Korean barbecue. Where's that? In Vegas? Come to the Philippines. Maybe one day. Advice for women with PCOS tried to conceive. Contact Victoria Felkar. She's much more knowledgeable on the subject than I am. But that would be my advice. I'll link her Instagram down below. 1 second. Victoria Felkar. Those are not things I usually address. So just contact her for a consultation. She'll know what to do. Keep up the good work, mate. Appreciate what you do. All right, well, we're going a little bit off rails, but appreciate it nonetheless. Come to Atlanta. We'll hit up some of the black strip clubs. I know you love a BBL. I wouldn't mind, dude. I wouldn't mind. I wouldn't tell my wife. Black strip clubs. Yeah, it's after living in Asia for a while. Thank God my wife does some heavy ass glute bridges and hip thrusts and stuff. But here in Asia, you don't get to see much booty, man. Man, in some of the ladies in Dubai had giant booties. I'm like, it's a little bit too much. But well, I wouldn't mind a lap dance from an Amazonian queen. That's I'll bring the dollars and the good mood. We'll do it in the private room. No touching though. No touching. I can also vouch for 888 Japanese barbecue. My cousin said Top's always favorite Korean Japanese barbecue spot. So this is in the US, I'm assuming. Oh yeah, okay. 888 Japanese barbecue. Premium all you can eat located. Oh, they have it in Las Vegas. All right. Well, I might have to ask you guys for some recommendations when I fly over. Because I can't be seen eating at Denny's again. Well, I will go to Peppermill. Problem is, Aaron's on contest prep, and my wife is not coming because she was fucking exhausted after traveling from Holland to Thailand, and she's like, "Well, if I'm pregnant by then, I'm not even going to try." So this is all you can eat. I'm gonna get so fat. Premium menu is worth it. All right, let's see what the premium menu is. Sushi, barbecue, sides, appetizers, ABC. Join the wait list. What is that? I want to walk in and pay and go, man. Price. Ram Kobe. $44. That's it. So you have an A, B, and C menu. All right. Dining adventure, $45. Oh, that's doable. I spent $680 in atmosphere in Dubai. That was a bit much. Barbecue gives me heartburn. It just means that you're not eating enough. Aaron looks great. Yeah, Aaron is looking very, very good. Aaron is very good. He's ahead and just got to stay the course and not hang out with me too much because I'm going on holiday in Las Vegas and I'm going to enjoy myself. My diet is over as soon as I step on the plane. 170 people watching and only 93 likes. They're all voyeurs, man. Nobody likes these live streams. What's even worse is that I get after the stream is done, it's like 1,500 or 1,700 people tuned in, and nobody leaves a like, man. It's just, people are desensitized for likes. Test EQ DECA main health marker to look out for: prolactin, estradiol, lipids, hematocrit, and red blood cell count. That's what I would say. Steve, is clonidine effective for growth hormone wise? Yeah, it might raise growth hormone levels, but I know so does melatonin, and so does amino acids, and so does you know a couple other things. So I wouldn't run clonidine to increase growth hormone levels. I would rather run growth hormone to increase growth hormone levels. Just touched 59. Really? Man, this is going down fast. 60,000. It's a big sell off. Normally it would take, let's see. No, last time it sold off this fast also in like 8 days. How many days did it sell off this time? 5 days. Well, wake me up when September ends. Steve, why do I get weaker on a higher dose of Mastron? When I threw it out after 2 weeks, I got stronger again, also more puffy. Yeah, maybe it's a lack of electrolytes. It's or lack of estrogen. So that could be the root cause. Some people just don't do well on higher dosages of particular compounds. They go back. That's why we call the dose of diminishing returns, right? So maybe a low dose Mastron does works better for you because you have more electrolytes and more estradiol, and maybe respond more favorably that way. So instead of throwing it out, just go back to the previous dose. Did you get good results, and continue from there? Oh, really? Yeah, I gotta check on my main computer. Order flow showing absorption of shorts locally, accumulation starting. Yeah, 60,000 is pretty good. Is pretty good. I don't have all my charts here. They're on my main computer. Unfortunately, you can't really move that over. And I don't have the plug-in for the shorts or for the buy orders and sell orders on this computer. So I'm just looking at Binance. Oh, well, I'll give it a weekend. See what happens on Monday. Yes, that was a Green Day reference. Most impressive. Post your workout music playlist. Death metal. I can't remember the names. I just download shit and then all the songs I like I throw into my MP3 player and listen to that. I can't be bothered to remember the names of the songs or the metal bands. But if it's Christian Elfstrom or Scar Symmetry or Lamb of God, then it's probably good. How much is the minimum worth to invest in Bitcoin right now as a beginner? As much as you're willing to lose, because you're a beginner, so you don't know how to trade yet. So if you have $100 to lose, then that's what you can invest. If you have $100,000 to lose, then that's what you can invest. It's a risk. Investing is a risk, so don't invest more than you're willing to lose or willing to hold for more than 4 years, less than 4 years, because the market might crash tomorrow, and if you sell at a loss, then you lose money. But if you hold, then the market cycle is 4 years. So in 4 years from now, you'll probably be up at least the same as what you invested. And then you wait a little bit longer to cover for the horrible inflation that is going on. And then if you wait a little bit longer, then you might be in the positive. So yeah, read some investment books before you start investing. Never invest more than you're willing to lose. And if you have a stable income of, good amount of money, then yeah, you can invest millions. Because even if you lose millions with a steady income, it will cover whatever expenses you have during the month. Of course, it would suck to lose millions, but you know, if you have a steady income, that's why you don't quit your day job when you're investing, man. You can quit your day job when you have fuck you money at 50 million. That's fuck you money. Then you can literally quit everything. Or at least that's what I calculated. At 50 million, you can quit anything and just give up on everything and live off your investment. Even if you put it in the lowest appreciable assets, it's still more than enough. Uh, any recommendations to stop stretch marks for building up? I have a video on that. That will be my recommendation. Watch the video. The Cure for Stretch Marks. It's already a year old. Great fucking video, though. Link down below. How much berberine a day for insulin sensitivity? 500 milligrams before bed. That's usually enough. How often should I use nattokinase when using raloxifene? To block the potential for blood clots? I don't know. Do your own research. I think it's irresponsible for me to give you that advice when I don't even know if that is going to happen. So I would rather not run raloxifene. What US cities are you visiting during your trip other than Vegas? I'm just going to Vegas. I'm going to the Mr. Olympia for about 10 days, or Vegas for 10 days, and then I'm done. Since my wife is not coming, I don't want to be away from home too long. And I've seen most of the places in the US that I wanted to see. Of course, I could do another 3 months in the US and just travel to all kinds of places and have fun, which would be absolutely fantastic. But right now, that's not in the cards. So I'm going to Vegas for 10 days around the Olympia time, do a little bit of holidaying before and after, and some meet and greets, and maybe some podcasts, and whatever. And then I'm going back. Last time I went a month, and that was way too long. It's way too long to be away from home for that long. Steve, what do you think about the influencer Togi? I have no idea what I mean, I guess he's very open about steroids, right? So, but most of these kids that are very open about steroids, they probably don't know what they're talking about. So, but I have no idea. I don't follow Togi. I don't follow Sam Sulik. I don't follow any of these kids because there's nothing for me to learn, or besides growing your Instagram accounts. But then they make content that I don't really want to make. So, yeah, I don't follow that shit. So if there's something positive for you to learn from, then by all means follow it. And if it's just sensationalism and ravaging about steroids, then well, I mean, I would advise you to get your information elsewhere. Uh, if somebody can't eat for 6 to 7 hours straight while at work, would you recommend some casein protein which will absorb slower? What I did at work is just a whey protein shake with oatmeal or cream of rice, and you just mix that. When you're in the bathroom, you drink it there, and then you go back to work. Everybody has a bathroom break. You just bring your shake with you. You fill it with water. You drink it up, and then you go back. You know. So there is always a way. And otherwise, for all the guys that are taking cigarette breaks, then you negotiate with your boss a food break for 5 minutes. See, but they're getting cigarette breaks. I want to eat. I need it for my religion. You make it about, religion. Play the victim. You need to eat every 3 hours for your religion. And then you can't get under it. Can we get more videos on macros and nutrition in general? No, because nobody would watch it. And I only have so many hours in the day. So I make videos about drugs. And if you want to get your macro and nutritional advice, then get it somewhere else. It's that simple, man. I'm typecast as a drug source. So I could make a video about macros and nutrition and nobody would watch it. And then I waste 3 days of my week on a video that nobody watched. So, no, don't blame me. Blame the audience. I made a lot of videos on nutrition. Nobody watched it. I mean, look at this entire live stream. Nobody asked about nutrition, dude. This is the only question I got about nutrition in 2.5 hours. So, no. All right. Well, let's leave it there. Hopefully next week I'll have some content for you guys. And if not, well, it's because I'm just lazy. I got too much other fun stuff to do. And yeah, but I'll get to it. I'll get back to, everybody's still on holiday in August, but from September onwards, I'll get serious to it again, at least. But right now, I'm just enjoying my extra time. All right, guys, peace out. Enjoy yourself, and enjoy your weekend. Don't do anything crazy. Nothing crazy that I wouldn't do in my younger years. So you basically have the go ahead to do everything. Take it easy, guys.